Georgia Public Broadcasting presents the 2004 Georgia High School Association's Class 4A Football State Championship. Funding for this program is provided in part by Georgia Electric Membership Corporation, IBEW Local 613, South Trust Bank, Georgia's Dodge Dealers, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, State Farm, Huddle House, and by viewers like you. Live from Womack Field in Statesboro, it's the 2004 Georgia High School Association Class 4A Football State Championship, featuring the Warner Robins Demons at 13-0-1, taking on the Statesboro Blue Devils at 14-0. We are located some 50 miles west of Savannah, 120 miles northeast of Warner Robins, here in Statesboro. The Demon fans made the 2.5-hour trip here to Statesboro for the big grand finale. This one features two coaches in their first year as head coaches at their respective schools and their first year as a head coach to win a state championship. It's an incredible story here in Statesboro. Both teams had some incredible stories at the Georgia Dome. Brian Way of Warner Robins, Steve Pennington of Statesboro led their teams to great victories in the semifinals, leading them here to the state championship game. First, we begin with highlights from the Georgia Dome. Warner Robins taking on Ware County. The Demons came in at 12-0-1, the Gators at 12-1. Alton Sanders starting the scoring parade with a 1-yard touchdown run. Later, Kyle Hicks gets the call from a yard out. 14-0 Warner Robins. But this would be Alton Sanders' day. The senior tailback scored 4 times. This play covered 20 yards. Then Sanders goes straight up the gut on this play. 19 yards and a touchdown. And then check out this one. 47-yard run from scrimmage. Afterwards, Sanders gave all the credit to his offensive line. He said, they opened the holes, and I simply just ran right through them. Demons junior running back Brandon Anderson then contributed with this 6-yard touchdown run. Warner Robins wins it over Ware County 40-0. Sanders, 266 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns on the day. Meantime, the Statesboro Blue Devils took on the Salem Seminoles in a battle of unbeaten. Salem punter Brett Keenan has his kick blocked by freshman linebacker Weldon Watts. Watts recovers the loose ball in the end zone. 7-0 Blue Devils. Offensively, the Blue Devils were led by quarterback David Cohn. He rolls right and hits number 90, the freshman tight end Sherrod Natson. What a catch by Natson. 14-0 Statesboro. Defensively, Statesboro had 6 shutouts throughout the year. They held the Seminoles scoreless. Salem quarterback Darius Mathis picked off 3 times here by Prathan Wilkerson. The junior defensive back grabs one there. Zach Sanders, meantime, then hits a 23-yard field goal. Salem had 4 turnovers, 1 blocked punt for a touchdown. Statesboro beat Salem 17-0 as they make their 2nd straight trip to the 4A title game. And one other note involving Statesboro, head coach Steve Pennington and his wife Luana tonight are celebrating their 16th wedding anniversary. We throw it upstairs to the 2 guys that call the game, Charlie Ward and Gerald Riggs. Hello, guys.
Hello, Jimmy. And the fever pitch in the booth is just as high as it is at field level. Good evening, everybody. Charles Ward, Gerald Riggs, glad you could join us. Gerald, 2 teams that are very familiar with the state title in the state of Georgia. The Demons with 4, the Blue Devils with 2. Let's start out by talking about the Demons of Warner Robins.
Well, Warner Robins comes into this game, to me, they're the irresistible force. And one of the guys who leads this team is their senior running back, number 21, Alton Sanders. You see, last week at the Dome, he had 18 rushes for 266 yards, 4 touchdowns. This guy here leads an offense that is absolutely fantastic all season long. These guys here have been averaging over 370 yards a game and 320 of those yards on the ground, and an amazing 35 points per game. They are going to be a very, very tough team to deal with.
Of course, the Demons of Warner Robins, coached by Brian Way. We caught up with him prior to the ball game to get his thoughts about their game plan coming into the championship.
Well, we run the wing tee, and so we're going to do what we do. We run football and, have most of the time been pretty successful, so we're not going to deviate a whole lot from what we do, all year. And, we're going to try to run the buck sweep and the trap and, have a lot of counter counters and things like that, and mix our play action in at, in running situations. We know we can't spread the field, line up and throw it and beat good people. So we just have to rely on execution and being pretty fundamentally sound. And defensively, we're pretty base. We base out of a 4-3, and we don't stun a lot, and we just try to keep everything in front of us, not give up big plays, and make the offense earn everything that they get. And so that's what's got us here, and that's what we're going to try to do this Friday.
The Blue Devils of Statesboro High School, they too with 2 championships. Let's talk about them.
Well, they are used to being here, and I tell you what better place to come right here at home to do it. The immovable object with the Statesboro team, and their guy that makes their team go is their senior running back, Nick Wedlow. As you see, last week he had 27 yards, 93 yards, 27 rushes, but this team here is a very tough defense. The immovable object is what I'm calling them. And their defense, you look at what they've done here on the season. 7 shutouts against their opponents. And you know what? Only 6 points per game. That is something to watch. And we're going to see that same kind of effort, I'm sure, here tonight, Charles.
Of course, the Blue Devils of Statesboro High, coached by Steve Pennington in his first year. We caught up with Coach Pennington prior to the ball game to get his thoughts about their approach to it tonight.
Our offensive system is based on a power wishbone. We have 3 backs and 2 tight ends, and essentially it's a power type game. It does not involve any option whatsoever. We just try to utilize strength that we have up front in our backs in the blocking set. We will break it out occasionally to open up our defense that we're playing against, but other than that, it's strictly power. Our defense is based out of a base 50. But we basically have 4 down linemen with 1 linebacker dropped off. And really we don't play any man coverage. It's just a zone defense as far as our coverage is concerned.
Coach Pennington's talking about power. The 4th member of our broadcast team is at field level. He's got a lot of power. John Nelson.
Where that power is, Charles, we'll find out sooner or later. Let's talk about the coaching staffs. You've heard from the head coaches. Let's start with Warner Robins. Brian Waite was a 21-year assistant before he took the head coaching job this year. 4 other assistants on the staff also have coaching experience on that Warner Robins sideline. To the flip side is Steve Pennington, offensive coordinator. Kenny Tucker, 22 of the last 23 years on the sideline. Jack Webb went to school in Statesboro, defensive coordinator, and he had a brother who was a quarterback for the 1966 team. And Charles and Gerald, the answer to your trivia question, number of coaches in Statesboro who have either Statesboro or Statesboro High experience is also 5. Back up to you upstairs.
We knew that. Get set. It's the Demons versus the Devils. The winner is state champs. Back live on GPB from Walmack Field in Statesboro, Georgia. It's the 4A championship matchup featuring that group from Warner Robins. The Demons, 13-0-1 on the season, trying to notch 1 more. If they win tonight, it'll be their 5th title overall, or their 4th title overall at that program. They will be up against a tough bunch from Statesboro, the Blue Devils, at a perfect 14-0 on the season, and they come into this stadium with a warm welcome from the crowd at Womack Field. The number 1 ranked Blue Devils against the number 3 ranked Demons of Warner Robins High School. Sit back and buckle in. This should be a dandy from Womack.
Better strap it on, as they say here in the South. Strap it on.
Capacity crowd here at Womack. Seating at 6,000 plus.
Officials for tonight's game are from the Atlanta Area Football Officials Association.
For the Blue Devils of Statesboro, this is how they made it to the championship round with wins over Douglas County, Northside, Tucker, and Salem. And out of that run, Gerald, only 1 offensive touchdown for the Blue Devils in that 3rd set of ball games. But the Blue Devils, they rely heavily on that defense. Defense wins championships. Demons of Warner Robins, their journey to the championship round started with America's Sumter. Big scoring margins for Warner Robinson, Creekside, Rome, and a 40-0 win last weekend in the Georgia Dome. A surprising disparity in terms of scoring there against the Gators of Ware County.
And going into that game, nobody really thought that they would be able to shut them out like they did, but they handled them quite convincingly, and here they are now.
So the Blue Devils and the Demons. Warner Robins, Georgia, some of the natives from there making the trip down, supporting the Demons, who've turned in a fabulous season under first-year head coach Brian Way.
Set to kick off for Warner Robins.
This is what it's all about.
Deep to receive, Blue Devils.
Coach Way, 20-year assistant at Warner Robins, getting a shot at this, and the Demons will kick it away first. Jake Grubbs, we'll talk more about Grubbs as this game progresses, but Grubbs certain to be a D1 player coming out of that Warner Robins program. Nick Wedlow stands deep for Statesboro to get us going in this 4A championship down in the borough. So Grubbs with the kick, and we're underway. Sidewinder. Wedlow will field it on the hop. Up the gut he goes. Left side now up near the 25-yard line. Blue Devil offense will take it over there. First possession of this championship football game. Sidewinder to Wedlow. Wedlow runs it in decent field position for the Blue Devils to start this offensive possession. 45. David Cohn, the quarterback for the Blue Devils. Take a look at his numbers on the season. 73 completions, 956 yards, 7 TDs, just 3 interceptions. Very conservative. On the ground they go. Left side, Wedlow, bang, at the line of scrimmage. Good surge up front by that Demon defense. So the first offering on the ground for the Blue Devils results in no gain as we look at the lineup for the Blue Devils. Up front, it's Jackson and Cody at the tackles. The guards are Lennon and Allen. Center is Waters. Tight ends, Lanier, Harbins the other. The backfield, Rock, Wedlow, and McCullough, your fullback. It's a second down and 10 for Statesboro. Cohn, short drop out in the flats. Pass intended out there for Pernell Thompson, the sophomore, but the pass thrown just out of his reach. Thompson with the big catch in the Tucker ball game in the quarterfinal round. As we look at the Demons of Warner Robins defensively, Felder, Rose, Brown, and Ambler up front. The linebacking corps, Hampton, Buford, and Stiles. And the secondary is Holly, Gray, McKenzie, he's the one you got to watch, and Davenport. McKenzie and Davenport, the stronger safety or defensive players in that secondary for the Demons, turned in a fine year for Warner Robins. Third down and 10 now for the Blue Devils. Cohn, play action, rolling right side, fires, but he threw it high. Pass goes incomplete, intended for Wedlow, circling out of the backfield. And the Demons of Warner Robins get what they want in this first possession, Gerald, and get the Blue Devils to go 3 and out.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it's kind of surprising for most people here at Statesboro is that they open up passing the ball. As you see here, quarterback dropping back. Had a man open, but just overthrows him there and almost gets it picked off, actually. So, the Demons get them right where they want them on the first series.
So Lonnie Brown now will kick it away for Statesboro, but we'll have whistles at the line of scrimmage prior to the kick.
Looks like it's going to have 12 men on the field there for Warner Robins.
Indeed, you're right. It won't be enough to give the Blue Devils a first down.
Substitution on the defense. Still fourth down.
That'll push the football up near the 30-yard line. Statesboro still to kick it. The officials for tonight's ball game: referees Danny Westbrook, Jeff Earwood, the umpire, David Kosovich, the lineman, Mickey Sitton, the line judge, back judge Julian Scott, and Mark Brooks is the field judge. All from the Atlanta Officials Association, glad they could make the trip down to South Georgia. They're coming after it, but Brown got it away. Bounces at the 40. One of the Blue Devils kicked it there, and it starts to roll inside of the 20-yard line. And we'll see if they actually caught it at the mark of the kick. And indeed they did. The officiating crew, we just named them, fine heads-up job on that call. And the Demons will start with fairly good field position here at Womack as you take a look at Coach Steve Pennington of the Blue Devils.
Watch, as you saw this last special team play, even though it was a punt, it looked like Warner Robins would maybe thinking to give them a little bit some of their own medicine that was going after the punt.
Demons led by quarterback Mark Wright, 31 of 65 on the season, 668 yards, 7 interceptions, but the sophomore with 7 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. 1st and 10 for Warner Robins. Misdirection, they come back right side. Sanders bangs into the secondary of the Blue Devils. Got it up near the 47-yard line. That quick-hitting trap play by the Demons. That one works, close to the first down.
And that is their signature play. And look for that to have a heavy dose of that. If that play continues to be successful, you will see that play being called all night long.
Demons up front, it's Scott and Ward. We'll check the relation on that. Clark and Crenshaw. Crenshaw is the pulling guard. Luciano is the center. Running backs, Hicks, Sanders. Wideouts, Richardson and Hamilton, and the tight end is Hargrove. 1st and 10 after the run by Sanders. They go back to the inside. Sanders, a correction carry this time by Kyle Hicks, his running partner. Hicks got it inside of Blue Devil territory near the 48.
Just a tough running play here, just off tackle. We usually call it a trap play by the fullback, but they move Statesboro off the ball a little bit, get some tough yards in there. That's what they're going to look to do all night.
First possession as we look at the Blue Devils defensively. Houston, Foy, Tanner, and Deacle. Deacle's the leader of that group up front. Rushing, Etheridge, Watkins, he's the man at linebacker for Statesboro. Secondary is Rollins, Wilkerson, and Knox. Wilkerson with that interception in the semifinals last week. 2nd down, left side. Sanders looking for a block, cuts in the hole, got it near the 45.
That was just great pursuit there by Statesboro. As you see on the play there, they just stretch the play out, trying to cut off the lanes there, making sure they don't have anything, any creases for the running back to get into. And you saw Tommy Watkins there, the linebacker, running there, make a nice tackle.
It's 3rd down now. Football at the 45 of the Blue Devils. Demons with a 3rd and 4. Right, short drop, out in the flats. Pass caught at the corner, but immediately hitting. They lost the football. He got it out in the flats to Damian Sheffield. And Sheffield was hit immediately.
What a nice play there by Corey Rushing. Coming up here on the play, they had the right play called on, just try to get the first down, keep the ball moving. But see, there he comes up. Excuse me, that was 15 for Statesboro.
Michael Rollins,
yes. Michael Rollins came up, make a nice stick on the play, forcing them to a 4th down play.
And textbook performance by Rollins at that safe defensive back position there. Went into the tackle, stripping at the football at the same time, and he forced the receiver to drop it. Special teams, as the Demons get set to punt, the Blue Devils are just spectacular in terms of blocks. They've got 11 on the season. They're coming after this one, but they get it away. Nice kick. And as the receiver fell down near the 10, the football hit him, but he fell on top of it, so the Blue Devils will keep it. Jake Ware, the junior, some difficulty on the 35-yard punt by the Demons, but the Blue Devils will keep it on offense.
I tell you what you're going to have to watch here in this game, special teams are going to be a big plus in this game. I mean, you better watch on both sides of the ball, because I'm sure that both coaches are saying, we've got to take care of business on special teams. Statesboro like to come after the punts. They will block anything that's on the ground. They've got to kick or throw, whatever they get after. And I think Warner Robins is going to be in the same frame of mind.
So on the ground, right side, Rock's working it for the Blue Devils now. Rock with his first carry of the ball game. And he pushes the pack up near the 16-yard line.
And right up the middle, that play was, as you see here, the quarterback turns around, hands it off to the right side of the center, and he just gets some tough yards in there. I tell you what, it's going to be a game right now to see which team can continue to take all the body blows. You see Charles Rock with on the season 193 rushes, over 1,000 yards, and I believe they have 2 backs tonight in the same backfield with over 1,000 yards.
Rock and Wedlow, as we get a flag at the line of scrimmage. Blue Devils may have started early on the play. First quarter from the 4A championships. Call is offsides against the Demons. So Statesboro gets a break as David Cohn Works it from the sideline with the play.
You like to be in that situation as an offense. Gives you more options when you can get some freebies in there.
Dead ball foul, encroachment on the defense, first down.
I don't think that they mind that at all. You know, that's a little help from the referee friends on both sides, I'm sure, when they get a chance like that.
9:01 remains first quarter. Blue Devils with the football. 1st and 10 after the assessment. The left side, Blue Devils come. Wedlow looking for a block at the corner. He's got one at the 30. Finally shoved out of bounds near the 35-yard line. Blue Devils moves the chains.
And a nice play right there for Statesboro as you look at them running up to their left side, and Gavin McCullough makes a nice block out there to spring the runner to get him downfield. So, you know, Statesboro look to try to stretch him out a little bit. They're not going to try to continue to pound. I think you're going to see tonight some different running from both teams. Nick Wedlow on the season, 253 rushes, over 1,000 yards. As I was indicating that they had a couple of guys in the backfield for Statesboro to get over 1,000 yards. That's great balance for the running game.
1st and 10. Misdirection to come back to the inside. Charles Rock handling the football. May have gotten a yard, not a whole lot more. The Demons able to close the hole up inside.
And close it they did. You know, that they came there with the house, seemed like. I don't know if it was necessarily a blitz situation, but they caught them in the right defense. And you saw that they got great penetration there on the left side, which caused that play to get all bogged up and, if any gain at all, very short.
Justin Brown in on the stop for the Demons. They go back the same way. Rock with the football, looking for the corner. Eludes one defender. Nice second effort by Charles Rock, the running back for Statesboro. Got it up to the 41-yard line.
And that's it, man. Again, McCullough, I tell you what, the backs here at Statesboro, they do one thing. They do, as a team, they block very well together. They get after people. As you see them just turning guys in, just making contact. And that's all you have to do. A decent back or a back with the ability that they have will pick up some positive yards.
Rock picks up the positive yards. In fact, he picks up 7. 3rd down. 3 now for Statesboro. Here they come left side. Wedlow looks for the block. He's got some room at the corner. Inside of Demon territory. Back to the inside. Wedlow finally bumped out of bounds, but he's bumped out of bounds near the 35, perhaps the 34. Blue Devils on the move.
Well, on the move they are. This is almost like a version of student body left and right as they are just trying to exploit the outside. I guess they've seen something here on the film or maybe in the practice this week that, hey, we can get outside on these guys. We know that they're strong inside, but you know what? We have backs that can get outside. We have linemen who can wall them off, and I think they're taking advantage of it right now.
Here come the Blue Devils left side again. Wedlow, same move. Puts his head down, this time inside the 30, down near the 28-yard line. Hard run by Nick Wedlow at the end of that play.
Well, they are running pretty hard. And I tell you what, these backs here, these 3 backs they have in Statesboro backfield, these guys here are getting after it. They're running hard, and that's what you need to have against a defense that's very tough and they're very stingy. We talked about Statesboro having shutouts. Warner Robins, they have a very, very stingy defense, too. They have 6 shutouts to their credit.
Blue Devils now face a 2nd down and 3. On the ground, Rock inside the secondary. He's got enough for the Blue Devil first. They push him back. We'll check the forward progress on it. They'll put him down near the 21-yard line.
Well, I guess I'm going to be calling Gavin McCullough's name all night long because he made another nice block just leading up the pipe there for it to lead blocking. You've got to be able to do that. He blows it, the linebacker out of the hole. Even though he still makes a tackle, he gets a positive yards, keeps the chain moving for Statesboro.
So the Blue Devils pick up the first down. Scoreless thus far in this 4A championship. Cone. They treat him as an additional coach out on the field, and there you could see him auto-rising at the line of scrimmage. Right side to Rock, turning end over end near the 20, falls down near the 18.
And on that play there, number 45 for Warner Robins, Antonio Fielder, he came in and just he had to bury just to make sure that he didn't get blown out because they have been, as running backs, taking on the linebackers and doing a very, very nice job so far. But Warner Robins gets a chance to stop him for a short gain.
Rock, 185 pounds, runs a 4.40, and real strong. On the ground, they go left side. Wedlow looks for the block. The pack punches him near the 15.
think one thing that you're seeing tonight, two defense, or at least on Warner Robins defense, a defense that, they're quick. They try to run around a little bit, but Statesboro, to their credit, have been sticking to the blocks. They have not been getting beat so far on this drive, not getting off. They've been staying on guys, moving the pile, and that's where you want to stop that penetration and then let your running backs play from the other side of the ball.
We talked about it prior to coming on air that this was going to be a football game of wheels. Both teams very effective. Both teams run their offense very proficiently. It's just a question of who wanted it more and who would win that battle in the trenches. Cone's going to pass. Fires it at the sideline. Rock with the catch. And he steps out of bounds near the 5-yard line. So the Devils surprisingly going to the air.
And you know what? It is surprising. I think even the folks here in the stadium are shocked to see that Statesboro have kind of mixed up their offense a little bit. And as I see, there's a nice catch there to get the ball down there and inside the 5-yard line. But yeah, that's a nice change. I like to see that. I like to see teams that they're not afraid to take chances out of what they're used to doing.
Cone, the junior, doesn't throw it much, but there on that play, a perfect pass at the corner to Charles Rock. Blue Devils now, first and goal to go. Left side, Wedlow, touchdown, Blue Devils.
My goodness.
It's not an earthquake. They're rumbling here.
Almost made me jump out of here. But you see here the offensive line, they just stick on people and just move them out. From the tackle to the center, they just open up that hole. And I tell you what, they textbook drive. This is what Statesboro football is all about. And if they can continue to do this, we're going to have a pretty tough and a quick game.
Sanders on to try to point after. And Sanders misses it. A surprising miss by the normally accurate Zach Sanders for Statesboro. He was 34 of 36 prior to tonight's ball game in terms of points after, but there he missed.
Well, those are some important points there. As you see here, the lead block up there. Look at that hole right there. Charles, even you can run through that. Walk through it probably.
You were talking about Gavin McCullough, the fullback, and watch McCullough. He's able to step through the hole, couldn't find anybody to hit.
He couldn't find anybody to block. So it's like, hey, follow me.
Right, I can tell you where it is.
But yeah, that's what you want to have as an offense. That is a confidence builder. And I'm sure with them looking at those plays in that series, they have a lot of things to choose from to maybe get them going in the rest of the game.
Blue Devils scoring drive, 11 plays, 84 yards, 3:38 off of the clock. Wedlow caps it off with the 5-yard touchdown run left side.
You got to give credit to the offensive line.
No question about it.
Even the running backs were running hard. The offensive line, they were sustaining blocks and staying on blocks. I was listening to some of the comments from the coach earlier on, and even some of the players, and they were making that very well known that we have to stick on blocks. We cannot get on those guys and let them off because they are quick.
Sanders now will kick it away. A sidewinder by Sanders is fielded by one of the up men for the Demons. It's Dominique Davenport. Davenport up near the 27-yard line. Jim Ginocchio at sideline. Jimmy.
Charlie, this is what Coach Pennington was hoping for. Run the clock, run the ball, keep the clock moving, keep the ball in bounds. Wedlow and Rock run it. David Cone, occasional passes, and it worked to perfection. Back upstairs.
The formula works for the Blue Devils on that possession. Coach Pennington. You'll never know it by that look. Got to be pleased about the performance on that drive.
Yeah, the coaches love to look that way, even when things are going good. I don't know why they do it.
Let's see now, Sanders and the Demons back the other way. They try to work it left side, but the Blue Devil defense now starting to tighten it up in there a bit. Brett Rogers and the Professor, as you've deemed it.
Yes, that's right.
Tommy Watkins, the linebacker, on the stop for Statesboro. Blue Devil sideline. They too happy about the early results. Under 5 minutes remaining in this quick-moving first quarter from Womack Field. 4A championship. Statesboro trying for their third title. Most recent, 2001. Wright fakes it in the line. Rolls right side. Here comes the pressure. They got a handle on him, and they get the sack down near the 23-yard line, led by Reed Tanner.
And I tell you what, Reed Tanner had that snuffed out all the way. He did a great deal. I mean, he showed so much hustle on that play. There was no way in the world that was going to work. Great job there as you see the quarterback rolling out to the right, getting ready to set up for a pass. Reed Tanner right there saying, no, buddy, this is my play.
He said all of that.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Did you see his mouth moving?
Tanner with the sack. They'll make it 3rd and 15 now for the Demons. Wright will see if he passes in this situation. Straight drop. Here comes the pressure. They were blitzing. They got him behind the line of scrimmage. Up front for the Blue Devils, Alex Deacle.
And Deacle, you know, it was just a matter of time. I was hoping to get ready to call his name tonight because here he shows another great deal of hustle. He takes on the center, gets off the block. That's what they need to do. They've stressed that all week long on defense. Get off of the blocks. Offense, stick to the guy. And you see Deacle gets to his first sack of the game. And Warner Robins, we wanted to see how they were going to respond, you know, with them scoring. And as you see, they get him with 3 and out.
Jake Grubbs now on the punt it away for the Demons. Grubbs are coming after it, but Grubbs got that one away. Blue Devils getting closer and closer. Angling right side, and a return for the Blue Devils by Ware. Ware grabs it and goes out of bounds. Statesboro will start from their own 42.
Jake Ware on the return for Blue Devils.
It's viewers like you that help make great local programs like these GHSA football games possible on Georgia Public Broadcasting. To show your support, simply visit our website at www.gpb.org. It's totally secure, simple to use, and it takes just 2 minutes. And thank you for supporting Georgia Public Broadcasting. 1st and 10 now for the Blue Devils. On the ground, Wedlow looking for some room left side. Not a whole lot there.
Not a whole lot on that side, but I tell you what, we're going to find out now what this Warner Robins defense is. You know, they don't want to be on the field a long time. Statesboro has that's their knack. They like to stay on the field, body shots, give you body shots all the time and keep the defense and wear them down. If Warner Robins expects to be in this game defensively, they're going to have to get out the field. They can't have these long drives and then their offense go out and have a 3 and out.
Sort of a Joe Frazier defense. As we look at the total yardage situation, Blue Devils approaching 100 at 85. Warner Robins only at 8. Surprised at this point by that, Gerald. 2nd down. Misdirection on the inside. Wedlow was held from behind, and they pull him down with about a half-yard gain as a result. Good surge up front by the Demons.
And Justin Brown is the reason why. Number 65 there for Warner Robins. He gets across the line of scrimmage to disrupt that play and get those guys down in a 3rd and long situation. As you see him right there, just getting his hand on enough of him to slow him down and make sure the rest of his partners, his posse, comes on, get in on the action.
So that'll make it 3rd down now as Justin Brown, you take a look at his numbers on the season. He's the stalwart for that Demon defense. 72 tackles, 10 of those for losses, and 4 sacks, and he is the leader for those Demons up front. 3rd down now, big play for the Demons and Devils. Cone, short drop, fires at the corner, high in the air. This one picked off. The interception comes to Marcus Gray. And the Blue Devils turn it over, and the Demons will have excellent field position from the 45.
Well, the first one to draw blood from the standpoint of the turnovers. Warner Robins gets there on a pass that went off of the receiver's hand, I believe. As you see here,
was trying to get it to Grady Young out in the flats, thrown high.
Little high.
And Maurice Gray able to pull it in. Let's take a good camera look at that one. As it was just out of the reach of Gray, he was able to tip it and hold it up in the air. And Gray, the junior, able to come away with the interception. That's his 5th. On the ground now, Sanders going to take advantage of it, lunges ahead, close to the 1st down marker for the Demons, and they push it inside of Blue Devil territory.
Now, I'll tell you what, this is what these guys do. Number 69, Crenshaw, number 60, Clark. When these guys pull, they take up space. You see right there, those 2 guards there pulling to your left, they take up people. You see, and they just wall people off. Clark did a great job, and I tell you, Sanders came just an eyelash away from taking them to the house.
After he was hit with the football, he just kept falling forward, got an additional 4 on the lunge ahead. 2nd down and less than 1 for the Demons. On the ground, straight up the gut, nothing in front of him. It'll be a touchdown for Kyle Hicks. Hicks broke it right up the middle, untouched, 46-yard touchdown run.
What a way to respond. This is what they need to do. If they're going to stay in this game, they're big play offense. They rely on big plays. They're not a team that just takes the ball down methodically like Statesboro do. They need to have big plays in order to stay in this game. That was the first one for them. And as a matter of fact, the coach from Statesboro, Pennington, said we cannot allow to have big plays. Well, Warner Robins gets their first big one of the game.
Kyle Hicks, the 46-yard touchdown jaunt. And Jake Grubbs now on to try to give the Demons their first lead of the football game. They get get it down. Brooks blocked at the line of scrimmage. Blue Devils got a hand in there, and they block it, so we remain tied at 6 apiece, Gerald.
And the special teams, again, what you want to call that special teams, because that's what they're about. As you see the block here, again, here on close-up.
Looks like it was, 48 for the Blue Devils. Grady Young.
Grady Young gets his hands on there to stop the extra point, and that is what Statesboro does. They have blocked about 7 or 8 or almost, I think 11. I think 11 kicks on the season.
It was 11 coming in. We take a look at that Warner Robins drive, 2 plays, and the big 46-yard run by Kyle Hicks. Less than 40 seconds. But that was the Blue Devils' 12th block of the season, Gerald. And it allows this ball game to stay tied at 6 apiece.
And you see right up here, you see number 61 there for Warner Robins, the center, Roderick Williams, just wall off the guy, and when you see nothing but the fans over there and nobody there touching, they're not going to come out there and tackle you. So, hey, get in the end zone.
You have to wonder, though, as you look at the scoring drive again for the Demons, how much of that touchdown run by Hicks can you credit to the attention that was paid to Alton Sanders, because he hurt him on a couple of runs prior to that?
Probably about 90% of it, because you know what? They have to be concerned with him wherever he runs. And they open up a nice hole there for them to take it for the touchdown.
The kick will come down to Young. Young works his way past the 20, still on his feet. Nice second effort by Grady Young. Young up near the 33-yard line, and the Blue Devil offense back to work.
Well, it looks like it's starting to heat up out here. And I think that, just that effort right there you saw by Grady Young, that, he wasn't going to be denied. He wanted to break one. He wanted to get some positive yards upfield, and he did that. 91 right there for Warner Robins. Almost had the tackle, and that was Justin Coward, but he could not pull him down, and, hey, he needed some help from his friends.
Grady Young started as a defensive back early in the season, converted to offense at the wideout spot about 6th or 7th game into the campaign. Young trying to turn some attention now to his football playing at the next level. He's a senior. He's trying to shine as much as he can here in this championship ball game. On the ground, Redlow left side, and runs into a band of Demons near the line of scrimmage.
And I'll tell you what, this is what it's all about. This championship time, we don't have anything to hold back out here. They score, we score, whatever. You know what? On defense, now Warner Robins is going to have to try to buckle it up, tighten the bootstraps up, you want to call it, and start playing tougher defense, because you know what Statesboro are going to do. They don't, I've been surprised tonight with the pass, but you know what they do, and what they do well, and that's grind it out, come at you with everything that they have, and as I indicated earlier, body blows.
Perhaps our last play of the first quarter if the Blue Devils can get it off. They face a 2nd down and 8. They do. Right side, Rock looking for some room. Rock at the sideline, wrapped up and pulled down near the 36-yard line. Pickup of about 3 on the carry by Charles Rock. And that play will bring us to the end of the first quarter. The end of the first quarter is just like we started. We're tied. 6-6 after the first. We'll step aside for a break and come back with the second from Walmack Field. Back live at Walmack Field, second quarter. Cheerleading squad for the Demons of Warner Robins, Coach Stephanie Wade and the rest of the cheerleading group. A lot to cheer about thus far. They're excited about that 6-6 tie ball game after the touchdown run by Kyle Hicks. And there are the Blue Devil cheerleaders. Coaches Angie Kearney and Wendy Osborne. And they too excited about their 6 points. As we go back to live action, Rock with the rocket screen out in the flats, caught it and runs it for the Blue Devil first down up near the 46.
Well, you can see that Statesboro's they're not gonna hold anything back tonight. They say, hey, if we have to pass the ball, we're gonna do it. Whether it's short passes or long passes, whatever we need to do to loosen this defense up, that's what they're willing to do. And certainly getting themselves in third and medium to long situations, they're going to have to, and I think that's a nice wrinkle for the Statesboro offense.
1st and 10 for Statesboro after the catch by Charles Rock. On the ground, Blue Devils. They give it to McCullough, the fullback. McCullough may have gotten a yard, perhaps 2.
So Joseph Wood over there for Warner Robins came through, knifed through on the defense and made a little shoestring tackle in there. But, they are going after. They're trying to do everything they can to try to get this Warner Robins team loosened up here again. But because it seems like to me after that touchdown, they kind of have some different things going there on defense to say, hey, all right, we took some of their best shots. let's kind of mix this defense up and see if we can give them something to kind of go at.
Three on the play. Terrence Jackson, the guard, pulling in there to create that 3-yard pickup. On the ground, Wedlow, left side, dances to the corner. Now the defense catches up with him, but Wedlow with a nifty move close to the first down marker.
Well, you know what? The coaches upstairs, I have to give them credit for calling that play, because you know what they're doing? Warner Robins had a guy who was playing off of the ball, almost like in a flex position over there on their left side. And, Statesboro, if you give them a head start running the ball, they're going to pick up some yards. And in that case, they picked up a first down from running there on the left side. You see there, the offensive line there, they're able to get a head start on these guys. And when you're 3 yards off the ball, that's kind of tough to stop a running play like that.
Wedlow, thus far, 10 carries, 65 yards, 1 touchdown already, 5-yard run. 1st and 10 for Statesboro now. Right side, Rock looking for a block at the corner. Rock wrestled down to the ground. Good defensive play by Antonio Felder, the junior, for Warner Robins.
Yeah, but I think he had a little too much action there, as he may have got a face mask on that play as he was getting him down to the ground. Made a nice play. As a matter of fact, at the change of the quarter, he made a play similar to this. But in this case, you see he grabs a little handful of the face mask. That's a no-no. Going to get some yards tacked on now. It's either the 5 or the big-time penalty there. It's just
Felder on the season, 49 tackles, 4 of those for losses, and 6 for loss and 4 sacks for the junior.
Would have had a nice play there for no gain, but now, I guess it's up to the officials to decide what they're going to do and see what Statesboro is going to do. I'm sure they're going to take the penalty.
Must be unintentional, you would think.
And race mask on the defense, 5 yards penalty, still first down.
So that'll push the football up near the 37-yard line. Look at Felder at the end of the play, clear shot of it there.
Makes a nice play to get off of the block, but hey, can't do that.
Nice camera work, and great work in truckling the tape to get us that. Wedlow straight ahead for Statesboro. Falls ahead near that first down.
Again, when it seems that Warner Robins is in that position to where they were off the ball, and that time Joseph Wood was there, number 70 was off the ball again. So the coaches are saying, it looks like to me from up here, that they're saying, hey, if you see that, we call it the bubble in the NFL. And you look for the bubble. And it seems like guys are playing off of the ball. That's the bubble. So you attack that, because you know what? You're going to get some positive yards in there. When you line up and play this offense that they're playing, it's just, hey, go to the guy who's off the ball. We got to run and start.
Well explained.
Thank you. I like to believe I'm up here for something. Not just up here carrying your luggage and stuff,
2nd and 1. Right side, Rock stumbles, but regains his momentum. They turn him in over end. But Rock close to the 25-yard line, and another Blue Devil first down.
And another play on the edge. For some reason, I think they feel like that they can get outside of these guys. As you see right there, nice block by the running back to cut the legs around on the defender. And you know what? Technically,
he wasn't down.
He's not down. And that would have been an outstanding play, because he was getting ready to run again. But the officials quickly moved in and blew it down. But, hey, that's what you need to have, the extra effort by your running backs. They're blocking well for each other right now. They're continuing to move the ball. I like what they're doing right now with the offense. As you see right there tonight, Charles Rock has 8 rushes, 32 yards on the night already. A junior, he's going to be back next year.
So Rock starting to roll here at Walmart.
You're getting started already.
10. They go right side. McCullough tries it. McCullough close to the 21-yard line.
And just a good running play there. Again, they're trying to grab the ball, but Justin Brown that time, number 65 for Warner Robins, said, I'm going to have none of this. I'm going to come in here and make a stop. Somebody's got to stop these running backs who seem to be almost running at will here for Statesboro.
2nd down play now for the Blue Devils.
Big man there.
2nd and 7. This is a situation Coach Pennington and the Blue Devils were concerned about all playoffs long, is being able to convert near the red zone. Here, they're just a little bit outside of the red zone, but as that field starts to shorten, that's where the Blue Devils have had some trouble getting that offense off. We'll see how they perform here. Right side, Rock runs into the defense, got it to the 20, down to the 19. Stop made by Roderick Rose, the sophomore defensive back for Warner Robins.
And he got off the block very, very nicely to get in on the tackle. But you know what? You have to watch sometimes the running backs may be a little bit overzealous to get the ball turned up. If he would have, maybe he may not have been able to get outside. But if he could have, he had one blocker there. McCullough was there to take him and escort him to the end zone.
Third down play now for Statesboro. Got a shot at Coach Kenny Tucker, the offensive coordinator for the Blue Devils. A big play coming up here. Look at the combined yards thus far. Blue Devils over 100 yards. Warner Robins at 61, and that 61 all on the ground. Left side, Wedlow's going to try. They got a jersey on him. They hold him and pull him down behind the line of scrimmage. They got a good tight grip on that jersey, wouldn't let it go. That'll bring up fourth.
Antonio Fielder that time made amends for the play that he had early on with the face mask. Runs through here on a nice play. Gets off the block here. As you see, there's a little bit of holding going on, but you know what? He didn't let that deny him. He got through, got his hand on the jersey, held on enough to get him down, and got into a fourth down situation for Statesboro.
So Zach Sanders now will come on to try the field goal for Statesboro. It'll be a 41-yard effort by Sanders, as long as thus far as 39 on the season. Cone will hold, bad snap. He got it airborne though, but it was hit at the line of scrimmage. The Demons got a hand on it and blocked it. So the Demons say we can play that blocking game too.
That's exactly what you're seeing here tonight, because both teams, from a special team standpoint, have some very, very well-coached guys out there. They go after the ball. They're not afraid to make plays. And as you see here, he kicks the ball, and I believe somebody looked like they got their hand on that ball there and caused it to be tipped and didn't get a chance to make the point. So they get the ball on the turnover.
So special teams thus far a factor, and just a great ball game shaping up here from Walmart. 6:49 remains first half. Back to the inside, Sanders looking for the corner, trying to outrun the pursuit. He does not. May have gotten two, but Grady Young going both ways tonight for Statesboro, making the stop at the sideline.
And Justin Houston, who's also get over there, he made a nice play to get out there and not get beat outside. He had to really get on the horse, as they say, and get out there to try to catch this speedster. But great pursuit there by Statesboro. And that's one of the things I wanted to see, if they could get outside to get this guy, because we know what he did last week at the Dome. You know, had 266 yards rushing. You don't want to see that tonight.
Indeed, set a single-season rushing record last weekend. Second down, 8. They go to misdirection on the handoff on the inside. Nobody fooled. As they used Sanders for a decoy, and they came back with the inside handoff to Davenport.
And I tell you what, Reed Tanner just kind of came in there and blew that play up. He wasn't going to be denied either on there. You got to be ready for this kind of stuff. And that wing tee, it had so many different things that can happen. Certainly these misdirection plays. This one where it looked like he was getting the handoff to go one way, hands off to another guy coming underneath. But Statesboro stayed at home. That's the most important thing when you play against the wing tee. You got to stay at home and guard your lanes.
This one's about field position thus far. A big third down play for Warner Robins, 3rd and 8. Wright fakes it in the line across the middle. Got a man wide open. The catch made by Richardson. Richardson to the 40-yard line. And the Demons convert on the third down play. They'll have first down.
Well, I tell you what, Zach Sanders there got back there. Excuse me, not Zach Sanders, but the quarterback for Warner Robins, Mark Wright, drops back for a nice here. Gets set up, gets plenty of protection there from his offensive line, and gives him time enough to make that pass downfield. And what a nice play there by Richardson, number 81 for Warner Robins.
The junior wide out with a nice grab. First completion of the night for the Demons. On the ground right side, Sanders looking for some room at the corner. Eludes one would-be tackler and fights his way up to the 45.
Again, the pursuit is going to be important tonight here for Statesboro, because they like to pull, and it's a different form. Even if from the wing tee, it's a counter trade trap. And he couldn't get that time that Statesboro got some penetration, which enabled him to get on his offensive lineman. He was probably 4 yards behind him, when in that case he wanted to be about 2. So they got great penetration there, forced him on the outside.
John Nelson down at field level. Nelly.
One of the biggest cheerleaders on this Warner Robins sideline, number 1, Dartez Walker, the starting wingback, injured his knee last week against Ware County, partially tearing one ligament, spraining another. Antoine Hamilton, number 28, getting most of the snaps in Dartez Walker's place. Dartez talked to Antoine before the game, tried to calm him down a little bit. D'Artes talked to me. I asked him what he told him. He said, after his first lick, I think Antoine will be all right back upstairs.
Thank you, Nelly. We talked about it off air with John. John got the read from Sanders on Walker that he was the missing piece of the puzzle prior to him really getting instrumental in that Demon offense.
That's right.
So far, the puzzle hasn't been messed up as a result of being out of there. They tied the ball game at 6 apiece right now. And we'll see what the absence for Walker means as this game continues to roll on.
Trying to run at the strength of Statesboro on the offensive line, whether it's right side or left side of the center. It's going to be very, very tough yards in there for Warner Robins, as Kyle Hicks found out on that play. Yeah, they wanted to try to make a quick hitting play that time, like the touchdown was, but not this time. Statesboro stayed at home and clogged it up. Very, very short game.
We talked about it in the pregame show. Both teams very familiar with that state championship. Blue Devils won it in 2001. They won another in 1966. The Demons champions in 76, 81, and 88. On the ground, right side, Sanders got some room, works his way into the Blue Devil secondary up near the 44-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, they don't get a hold of this guy, or as I said last week, get hold of him. He's going to break one soon, because you see here, there are those two guys that are leading the hold, Crenshaw and Clark. That's what they do, and they do it very, very well. And if he gets by, like we had to play a couple plays earlier where I said he was not close enough to make the cut, that time he was close enough to make the cut, and he came through the hole and made a nice game.
First and 10 after the run by Sanders. Straight ahead they go. Sanders stays on one hand, works his way into the secondary. Left side down near the 20-yard line. Grady Young with the touchdown-saving tackle. But Alton Sanders, with the work on one hand to keep his balance, makes that play go bigger.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is what it's all about here. You see again the fullback, and I believe that was Kyle Hicks that time on the run.
Correction.
And, just a quick hitting play. If you don't have you have enough guys sometimes in the box that when the linebackers commit to go to the outside, somebody needs to stay at home. In that case, nobody was there. He was able to pick up a big game.
Same play that they scored the touchdown on when they run it the quick play inside to Hicks. This time it's Sanders, a keying on him. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage by Alex Deagle.
And Deagle gets there, he gets the penetration, gets there, get off of the lineman. That's what you have to do if you're in there. That's the interior lineman. He didn't get himself caught there. He makes a tackle.
So Deagle with the stop on Sanders. Second down and 12 now for the Demons.
That's a good-looking kid right there. You know, you can see where he has so much. Even from up here, you can tell he's got a lot of growing in that body. He's going to be probably a big-time player.
Just a junior, 250 pounds. On the ground, left side, Sanders trying to find some room. Runs into Deagle once again instead.
Great job staying at home there by Newbern for Statesboro. Again, when you have a player who's as shifty and certainly can run around like Sanders can, the thing about it, staying at home. Don't let him fake you out your shoes. The next thing you know, you're looking at it from the back.
Third down, 9 now for the Demons. Football at the 19-yard line of the Blue Devils. Take a look at third down conversions. Both converting on 2 of them. Demons 2 out of 4. Statesboro 2 of 5. Right. Fakes it in the line. Going out in the flats. Again, the catch made by the big tight end. He'll go in near the end zone. Touchdown for the Demons. Catch made by Larry Richardson, the tight end.
And I'll tell you what, one thing that Statesboro cannot allow them to do is to let the quarterback sit back there and throw the ball. Even though they've been doing a great job against the rush. Here, as you see here, Warner Robins quarterback, Mark Wright steps back, 81. Larry Richardson gets the ball here and makes a very, very nice play. Runs that hook play. Just go there and sit down. We're not trying to get a big play. Let him catch the ball and make something happen.
Grady Young, the defender on the play for the Blue Devils, gambled there. Comes up short. Grubbs tries the point. After this one blocked again. Blue Devils got the pursuit, and they knock it down at the line of scrimmage.
Well, I can see the problem from up here. You know, they blocked 2 extra points now. There's no excuse for this. You know, you look at what I was saying that time, the guy on the end line, he's taking a false step outside. I know that there are 2 guys over there on his side, as you see here. he doesn't really, he takes a step down inside, but he's not tight enough. And he lets that guy run around. The only thing you have to do is you sit there. You don't worry about that guy on the outside. You know, even though he stepped down and you went around him, what you have to do is get a little bit bigger split on the outside from the tackle on, or at least the guard over. You don't want to be too wide because they come up the middle. But in that case, he could have pushed him out a little bit further.
Take a look at the touchdown catch by Richardson. Grady Young gambling to knock it down, wasn't able to do it. So Richardson scores the touchdown. But if there is some amends made by Grady Young, it was on the point after attempt. Young with the pursuit from the outside, able to knock it down. Score now, Demons 12, Blue Devils 6.
I wonder if the kicker was even ready at the time. It seemed like, it took a long time to get that ball down and get it up.
Scoring drive for the Demons, their second touchdown first half, 9 plays, 80 yards, 4 minutes, 36 seconds off the clock. Richardson with one big reception prior to the 19-yard touchdown grab. At the 2-yard line, it's Wedlow for the Blue Devils. Right side, Wedlow working the pack near the 30. And the Blue Devils, with 2 minutes, 7 seconds remaining first half, will come back on offense. We'll see how they play the remaining two, Gerald.
Yeah, we're going to find out now what this offense can be able to do. And sometimes in this type of an offense, it's not one that's really conducive to the time. They only have about 2 minutes and 7 seconds left before out. Big hitting plays now. We're going to try to see if they can match it with Warner Robins and maybe tie this game up at halftime. They'll take the lead.
Lone setback already for the Blue Devils. They pitch it left side. McCullough hit hard. Left side, falls ahead for 2. Initially tripped up in the backfield and finished off nicely by that Demon defense left side.
I believe that was Quinn Hampton who was in there on that play. I'm not sure of the number, but again, they forced a run in there, and it was Hampton there coming up and forcing the play back inside, which is what he's supposed to do. You're sitting there and playing it. You got to get that play to turn back upfield.
Brian Buford able to finish that play off for the Demons. 2nd and 7 now. Cone, play fake. Here comes the pressure. Cone across the middle and incomplete. Intended for Rock, who was circling across the middle out of the backfield. But Cone leading him too far.
Well, I tell you what, I like the plays that they have on. I like the plays that Statesboro have been running from a passing standpoint. Cone has just got to hook up with his players. He's overthrown a couple of balls. In that case, he led the receiver too far and high. So if he connects, they have some good things going here on the passing game. It's just a matter of them just hooking up and making the plays happen.
3rd down now for Statesboro. Wing T set. Cone, straight drop. Going up top, trying to get some separation for Young. Pass batted away. Good defensive work in the secondary for the Demons by Radford McKenzie, the senior. McKenzie step for step with Grady Young, and the Blue Devils will have to kick it away. On the replay, it was Gray there with the coverage for the Demons. And now Gray will stand deep to receive the punt. So Gray with good defensive coverage on Grady Young. A high snap. Brown got it away. Did they tip it? No, he got it away. Barely did he get it away. Gray with the grab. As he gets some room left side, he may have something. But the Blue Devils force him to fumble the football. It's loose down near the 26-yard line. Let's check it out.
Statesboro has the ball.
So the Blue Devils come away with the turnover. Gray was trying to make the return left side, and somebody hit him, and he forced it out of there.
Well, I thought that, he had something going if he could have gotten around that whole wave of players, but not quite able to do that. As you see here, he gets the ball, starts to his left, gets ready to go back to the other side, and I believe that was number
Grady Young again.
Yeah, it sure was. And they come away with the ball. This is a big play there. I was getting ready to say, you know what, this could be a dangerous situation for Statesboro because they were going to try to go for the end zone. And I mean, why not? You still had over a minute and something left to go before the half.
So the first turnover of the ball game for the Demons gives the Blue Devils a chance right before halftime with 1:08 remaining.
Let's see if they can make something happen here.
Georgia Public Broadcasting commemorates the 75th anniversary of the Fox Theater with a multimedia initiative that includes 2 GPB original productions, radio specials, and an extensive website. The history of the entertainment icon, the Fabulous Fox, and the behind-the-scenes special, This Old Movie Palace, Fixing the Fox, airs December 7th and 12th, and on Christmas Day, exclusively on GPB.
Great place to go. Fox Theater, boy, I tell you what, when I got here in Atlanta back in my early days, that was one of the best places to go and watch a show or see a play or whatever. It still is.
Right. No question about it. Can't wait to check that special out on GPB as well.
Can I go with you? I mean, as a family now. I'm not talking about you now.
As a date?
No. I mean, it's not like our eyes are locking up here or whatever. You know, we don't want any of that. As a family, come on, Charles.
I got you. First and 10 for the Blue Devils. On the ground, right side, Wedlow looking for some room, cuts it back to the inside. Works it ahead for 3, perhaps, for Statesboro.
And I tell you what, they look like they're trying to go for something here. But I tell you, number 40, Roger Rose over there for Warner Robins, just totally, just played off blockers and was able to make a big play there. As you see now that Statesboro's in kind of a hurry-up situation with 46 seconds left before halftime.
Cone, short drop, trying for the hitch pass at the corner, threw it out of bounds. Grady had circled to the inside. Cone threw it outside. That'll make it 3rd down for Statesboro with 40 seconds remaining.
But it was a smart play, though. Why take a chance and possibly throw the ball into coverage, even though I don't know if it was the route he broke off on the wrong side, but still, it's smart on his behalf.
And another thing you got to consider here, the Blue Devils don't have to really gamble too much here. They can at least come away with 3 points and a field goal. This is well within the range of Zach Sanders.
You don't want to give that up.
More action coming your way in the 5A championship at 6 o'clock tomorrow on GPB. It'll be the Vikings of Lowndes, hosted by the Panthers of Parkview. Cone trying to set the screen over center. They do to Wedlow. Wedlow, right side's got some room to the inside. Banged down near the 10-yard line. An excellent play call by the Blue Devil coaching staff.
I like it.
That'll be 1st down.
I like it. That's the safe play to make. Why try to get the ball downfield as you see here? And that was a nice touch by Cone. That's a tough pass to make when you have a defender right in front of your face who can jump up and maybe take the ball away from you. And as you see there, they get a nice play down there to the 10-yard line. About the 10-yard line there for Statesboro. So I like the call.
Cone on the night, 3 of 9 for 32 yards. No completion more important than that last one for the Blue Devils. Got that one interception.
Even though he has one interception, one thing I like to see them is to continue to give him passes to build his confidence. He missed some early, whether they were high or one that was tipped. It wasn't his fault on the interception, but if he can get some plays, and you see Brian Wade there, and 13-0-1 his first year as Warner Robins coach. But if they could give some passes to them, to Cone, and let him build some confidence, and I think that will help them out throughout the rest of this game.
Offensive coordinator Kenny Tucker into that Blue Devil huddle. Big play here for Statesboro, or a big possession here with less than about 33 seconds remaining first half. We're facing a possibility of maybe giving up another score to the Demons before the break. Now the Blue Devils with a chance to bring this ball game at least to even if they can score a touchdown.
Well, that's true, and like I say, it is a big play because they don't want to go into halftime, squandering an opportunity. They have to get something out of this, whether it's 3 points. Hopefully, I'm sure in the best world they would want the touchdown.
So Cone and the Blue Devils to the line of scrimmage. They can get a first down before a touchdown. Cone, right side, fires, but he threw it out of bounds, trying to get it outside to Nick Wedlow.
And again, that's what I mean about confidence builders. Passes like that you have to complete because he's going to work on his psyche. He gets out there and he throws a couple of those and he throws them bad or he overthrows them or whatever he may do. If he doesn't connect, it works against him. He gets uncertain about it. As you see here, steps back. He's all set up, prepared for it, and to throw it. And he really, I think he just missed the throw. Nobody tipped the ball or whatever. And they've got to connect on those to help him out later on in the game.
2nd down and 10 for Statesboro now. Sliders to the right of Cone. Short drop, pitch pass out in the flats to Rock. Rock with the catch. Rock fighting ahead inside of the 5, down near the 3. They'll stop the clock momentarily.
Tacklers led by number
And a timeout taken by the Blue Devils with 23 seconds remaining, first half.
A good safe play, and one in which he saw that he had a defender off of him, and Rock was able to get the ball down there to inside the 5-yard line. That was a very safe play, and again, a good look for the quarterback because he looked over it, he saw the area where he could take advantage of it, and that's what he did.
So the Blue Devils burned their last time out of this first half. 23 seconds remaining. Third down and about 2 for the first down.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you that we do have concession stands set up at both ends of the stadium.
If we don't score, call timeout, and that will give us time to kick the field goal.
They don't have a timeout, do they? I hear the coaches down there saying they don't when they call a timeout, but again, do they have a timeout is the question.
Well, we had the initial indication on the scoreboard here at Womack Field that they were out of timeouts, but Coach Tucker obviously under the impression that they do have them left. Absolutely. He's the one that really matters, right? So here come the Blue Devils now. 23 seconds left. They face a third down and 3. Cone on the ground. Wedlow, left side, fights inside. Any signal given? No, they'll pull him down outside of the end zone. And perhaps outside of that first down marker as well. It may come down to a fourth down play here, Gerald.
Well, I'm trying to see because they can actually still get a first down.
Indeed,
there.
they can.
And I'm trying to see if the officials are going to mark, if it's worth marking or not. Looks like it is.
So the Blue Devils with timeouts remaining, they take one there. Left side, Wedlow following the blocks of McCullough, the fullback. Back to the inside. Tackle made by Brian Buford, the sophomore linebacker.
Buford and friends. Chris Stiles is also on the tackle, and you see that they're short for that, and it's fourth down. Boy, I tell you what, I take the 3 and go in the end zone. I go in the locker room. Why make that? I mean, I know that they run tough. They do a lot of things. And you would say, well, hey, we can fall for a yard or so. Or 2 yards. I take the 3 and go in.
They were in the same situation in the quarterfinal ball game against Tucker, where they were down near the goal line and they went on fourth and didn't get it in for the touchdown then. We'll see how the Blue Devils play it here at Womack. Surprised by you on that one, Gerald. Not that you would put that football into the hands of one of the running backs to get this first down.
If it were a first down, I would. But it's fourth down. They don't get it. They turn the ball over. They come out with nothing. And I'm sure that you're going to see a lot of the slants and stunts and all that sort of stuff that these teams both can do. They're both used to playing against the wing team. All right, so nothing. It's not any secret or nothing out here what's going to run. It's just going to be a matter of if they're going to have the right play on or not.
Perhaps a long snap count by the Blue Devils up front. We'll see. Cone in Statesboro. Fourth down. Less than 1 for the first down. About another yard and they get the touchdown. On the ground, Wedlow bangs a touchdown, Blue Devils. So they run it left side. Blue Devils stick with what got them here. On the ground, Wedlow for 6.
Even though I might say, that's why I'm up here, but I still would have taken. I mean, like it's a great call, for Statesboro. They get the touchdown. Going here now. Hopefully they can either take a lead or go in, at least tie it up.
So Sanders now on to try the point after. We have not had one converted thus far tonight. They're coming after it. They get it up, airborne, and Sanders drives it through, and the Blue Devils reclaim the lead over the Demons.
And you know what? A great series for them. That is a big boost for them going in here at halftime. But, special team-wise, we better make sure that we go in still with this 1-point lead instead of being in a situation where they break a big kick or something. We don't want to see that. From Statesboro, we'd love to see it up here for the action, but Statesboro don't want to see that.
13 seconds remains, first half. So the Blue Devils take advantage of a turnover, and they take the lead.
That was a big drop. That was the big turnover, first of all, and then Statesboro being able to take it down and score.
Blue Devils 5 plays, 27 yards, only a minute, 8 seconds. Wedlow from 2 yards out has given the Blue Devils the lead in the football game. So now Sanders will kick it away. And we'll see if the Demons, how they elect to play these remaining seconds. Sanders likely to kick this football line drive, but that is speculation. Indeed he does. It's loose on the surface. Blue Devils charging at it. It's still rolling around down there. Now it goes airborne and kicked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Demons, we believe.
As the coaches over there probably just fall on the ball. Let's not try to pick it up or whatever. Let's get this ball down here so we can get out of here. You see them? There's a little squib kick, just something to get on the ground so everybody will get down. And then you see right there, the player for Warner Robins tips the ball, didn't get it down. That could have been disastrous for Warner Robins, maybe giving them another opportunity to kick a field goal.
Such a small object causing so much chaos.
That ball will drive you crazy.
1st and 10 for the Demons. They're set to take a knee on it. Wright gets the snap, and he will do that. So the Demons showing here that they're content to hold it at a 1-point deficit after the turnover late in that first half, and the Blue Devils capitalizing on it, going down the score. They lead it 13-12 going in at halftime.
We have a ball game here, that's for sure.
Jim Giannacchio standing by with Coach Steve Pennington. Jimmy.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Coach, your thoughts first half?
Well, it's a heck of a football game like we thought it was going to be. We came in to try to eliminate the big plays, and doggone if they didn't hit us right up the chute there on one big play. And then we also came in the game trying to stop the run, and they hurt us with 2 big passes. So they're executing, but we have moved the ball. It's just a great football game right now.
Yeah, that ball control early going too.
Well, I told you earlier, we got to have that to keep them off the football field. It doesn't make a difference who has the ball. They got excellent speed.
All right, good luck second half, Coach. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's go back upstairs to Charlie and Gerald.
Thanks, Jim. At the intermission, a close one here for the 4-H state championship. 13-12. It's the Blue Devils leading the Demons of Warner Robins. We'll step aside for a timeout. We'll come back with the halftime festivities from Womack Field.
Featured solo twirler is Kelly Fair. This year's exciting show is entitled Kaleidoscope. Selections for tonight's performance are
where Statesboro has the halftime lead over Warner Robins, 13-12. Let's enjoy the halftime festivities and the Warner Robins Marching Band. the Warner Robins Marching Band. And now here's John Nelson. Johnny.
Thank you, G. It's Friday. It's the 4A championship. His name's Monday. He's the principal, Steve Monday. Good to see you. I thought you might like that.
I appreciate it.
Now, a couple of things I'd like to talk to you about. Some of the fans who are watching here in Statesboro, and those who are watching on television at home, might have been looking at hats and visors and helmets, and there's a JS on the side. Talk about what Coach Sumrall meant to your community.
Words can't express enough what Coach Sumrall meant to us. He came to Warner Robins High School in 1966 after winning a state championship in Thomasville. And prior to that, we had 8 consecutive losing seasons. Coach Sumrall took 1 year and built us into a winner. And then that's really where Warner Robins High School football started. He hired Coach Orgel. Then after Coach Orgel, he hired Coach Davis. From there, 3 state championships and 37 consecutive winning seasons. And, you know, he was an administrator, a friend, a mentor to a lot of these coaches around Houston County in the state.
Now let's take it that next step. Coach Sumrall and the relationship he has with the guy who's been an assistant 21 years here, was an offensive lineman when he was in high school, Coach Way. What has Coach Way meant to the community?
Coach Way, once again, he's cut from the same mold as Coach Sumrall, just a quality person. Coach Way was our star teacher last year, so he does things not only on the field, as you see tonight, but also in the classroom as well. He leads by example. He surrounds himself with very good assistant coaches. And like I said, he's an example and a mentor for all these young men out here tonight.
Talk about what life has been like at Warner Robins this past week, knowing that you're going to be playing for a state championship.
It's been hectic. We've played all our state playoff games at home, except for the Dome, of course, and then tonight we're traveling to Statesboro. It's been wonderful. The community's been behind us, our teachers, our faculty and staff. Everyone's been behind us, 100%. And hopefully things will turn around a little bit here in the second half. But it's been a good week. The students have been excited. We've kind of kept them in their routine. Coach believes that they do better in routine. And we had a little bonfire last night and a pep rally today. But we have a lot of support here. We brought over 4,000 people to the Dome. So it's been an exciting time at Warner Robins High School.
And we'll hope the exciting time continues in the second half. Principal Mundy, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Let's send it right back to Jim.
All right, thank you, John. And I have a special guest, Senator Jack Hill from the 4th District. Senator, what a great night of football.
Can't beat 13-12 at halftime. Great game. Great game.
What do you think about the coverage here on Georgia Public Broadcasting, and what does it mean to the state and the students all across Georgia?
Well, I'm always a great advocate for what you're doing because the championship games are almost an anticlimax to the tremendous weekend that you all had last weekend. And we have such a huge state. I think it brings our state together around something that's pretty common. That's football. And it really gives, I think, some inspiration to young people around the state to work hard and try to earn that trip to the Dome every year.
I know you're from Reidsville, and here we are in Statesboro for a championship game. What do you think it does for the community here at Statesboro? I mean, it's amazing how everybody pulls together, the traffic jam in a small town like this, and for a Friday night football game.
Absolutely, and of course, Statesboro is known for Georgia Southern, but the truth is Statesboro High has a proud tradition of championship caliber football, and this is a football town. There's no doubt about it.
All right, Senator Jack Hill, thank you so much for joining us here at the half.
Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it very much.
And thank you for everything you do for the citizens of Georgia.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Senator Jack Hill. All right, the halftime festivities roll on. It's the Statesboro Marching Band on the field right now at Womack Field. And welcome back to Womack Field. Halftime festivities roll on. Statesboro leads Warner Robins 13-12. Here's the Statesboro Marching Band. Statesboro Marching Band, and now I'm with the Statesboro principal, Ernest Dupree. Ernest, great night for Statesboro High.
Oh, Jim, it's an absolutely beautiful night in Statesboro, and we're proud to welcome Warner Robbins to Statesboro.
Coach Pennington, quickly on his quick turnaround here at Statesboro, first-year coach.
Steve has done an excellent job for us. Steve's a great guy, great coach, and we certainly appreciate the work Steve has done with his coaching staff.
How about the community coming out for this big game?
The community has truly supported us, and we're truly appreciative of it.
7,000 people here at the stadium. You ever think you'd see the day?
Absolutely not, Jim. That's certainly been a challenge for us this week, preparing for tonight. But it looks like my athletic director and our system staff have done a great job for us.
All right, and now the second half, more of the same, I hope, right?
Absolutely, Jim. We've got to come out of this on top.
Okay. As one other question for you. As far as the championship game, they were here in 2001 in the championship game, now 2004. This has got to be a great thing for the community.
Oh, absolutely, Jim. Our kids this week have been wild, but wild with excitement, without a doubt. So they've had a great week.
Okay, well, thanks so much for joining us here at the half. We appreciate all the hospitality here in Statesboro.
Jim, we certainly appreciate you guys as well.
All right, we get ready for the second half kickoff between Statesboro and Warner Robbins. We send it upstairs to Charlie Ward. Charlie.
Thanks, Jimmy. At the intermission, Blue Devils leading at 13-12 over the Demons of Warner Robbins. Take a look at the Blue Devils headed back to the field here at Womack Field to get set for the second half. But the first half, we have highlights coming from that first half, and let's take a look at them. Things started out for the Blue Devils just the way that they wanted it. They went to the left side. Nick Wedlow from 5 yards out, and the Blue Devils had the first lead of the ball game. They wanted more. They went up top. Cone tried to get it to Young, but it was picked off by Maurice Gray, and the Demons were in business for Warner Robbins. On the ground, they give it up the middle. Kyle Hicks, he's untouched. 46 yards later, we're tied at 6 apiece here in this Quad A championship. But on the point after attempt, Grubbs got it airborne, but it was blocked by the Blue Devils up front, as they do so often. Now back the other way, it's Larry Richardson on the touchdown grab for the Demons. 19-yard touchdown play, and there again on the point after attempt by Grubbs. Blue Devils block it at the line of scrimmage. This, the biggest play of the first half, changed the direction of the ball game. Gray fumbles near the 27-yard line. Corey Rushing falls on it with about 1:08 remaining. The result, Blue Devils left side, Wedlow, touchdown, and the point after conversion. Blue Devils lead it now 13-12 at the break, with a fine performance in the latter part of that first half. Turnovers, special teams for the Blue Devils played a big part of it, Gerald, as we take a look at first half stats.
And you look up and down the stats here, and it's pretty much an even game, with the exception of the one part where the turnover on the punt. But you see there, passing yards, 41-36 rushing yards, 107, 122 for Statesboro. Total yards, 143 to 163 in favor of Statesboro. But again, the one touchdown, the one fumble that Warner Robbins gave up on the punt is really the difference in the game, because Statesboro was able to go down with 1:08 and score.
Wedlow with 78 yards in his first half, 2 touchdowns, 13-12. Blue Devils lead it. We will step aside for a timeout. We'll come back to start the third quarter. Just 24 minutes remaining. Blue Devils leading at 13-12. Let's go down John Nelson before we get started second half. Nelly.
Here with Coach Way, let's talk about the running game a little bit. They key on Alton, you get Kyle free.
Right, yeah. We got 2 or 3 pretty good football players at running back. I thought we did a pretty good job moving the football on the ground. We had some good gains, had a couple of big runs, and we just need to keep doing that and stay with what we do best.
And special teams, blocks aplenty in the first half.
We hadn't had a PAT blocked all year, and then they blocked 2, and it was good execution on their guy. Blocked it off the corner both times. We made some adjustments to our field goal, extra point team at half, and hope to straighten that out.
Coach White, thanks for your time. Let's send it back upstairs. Second half, Charles and Gerald.
Thank you, John. We get set to start the second half. Coach Way got to be disappointed about the latter minutes of that first half, Gerald. They pretty much had things where they wanted it going into the break. And it's a different psyche going in trailing as opposed to leading by a point or 2.
No doubt about it. And I think to go in at halftime with having the lead would have been great, would have been big for Warner Robbins. But instead, now I think Statesboro comes out with a little bit of momentum here in the second half.
Now we talk about it time in and time out, playoff long. This possession, the first one of that second half, is the big one here at Walmart Field. Blue Devils wanted to toss early on. They elected to receive the football. They're kicking it away to the Demons. Demons need to have a good showing on this drive.
It sets the stage, no doubt about it. And to see if Warner Robinson come out now and maybe jump on them, if they can do that, then it would probably put this game back in check from the standpoint of Warner Robins being able to make some things happen and getting Statesboro out of that momentum.
Sanders would kick it away. Alton Sanders as well as Brandon Anderson will field it at the 5. Anderson working it to the middle of the field, hit once, hit twice, and they wrestle him down to the ground near the 15. Raython Wilkerson, the junior defensive back, on the tackle for Statesboro on special teams.
Made a couple of big plays. Made a couple of big plays last week in the Dome with an interception and a fumble return.
Indeed, he did, and makes a big tackle there on Anderson for the Blue Devils. Demons, 1st and 10, football from their own 16-yard line. Mark Wright, under center. On the ground, left side. They work it ahead to Sanders. Sanders pushing the pack near the 19.
Coming back out, trying to reestablish themselves on the run. That's what Warner Robins going to have to do. But you see there, number 22 in there, Raython Wilkinson gets in on the tackle. Alton Sanders, he's been pretty much maintained today. He hasn't really hurt them, hasn't made many big plays, but you better believe before it's over with, if they don't pay attention to him, he could step up and make a big play. So right now, they have him in check.
2nd down and 7 for the Demons. Just underway 3rd quarter. Right on the ground, left side, hard hitting going in there. They spin him around, the carry by Hicks for the Demons.
And Leroy Etheridge, I tell you what, got there with a little bit of attitude because he got off the block here. And we're watching him as they were coming out, playing with he had an ice pack on his back, which indicates that he was a little bit banged up, maybe the first half. But as you see here, he comes off the line, gets rid of the lineman, steps in there for the big play. Big hit for Statesboro.
Well, that's a big-time play there by Etheridge at the defensive end spot.
He's ready. He's ready. Even though he was a little nicked up probably at halftime, look at him. He's ready. He's pumped up. This is what it's all about. It's now or never, baby.
3rd down 4 now for the Demons. Best direction. They go right side. Sanders, not a whole lot of room in there. Devils stopping him after about a yard pickup. That'll make it 4th down. So the Demons appearing to go 3 and out.
And that was our man Deco. He comes in there on a nice play, running down the line of scrimmage here. And I tell you, he's been making some nice plays all night long. He gets off the block here, gets in there, wraps up. One thing I can say about the Statesboro players, they're good tacklers. They get to the point of attack and they wrap up and they take it down. That's good coaching, and those they're players who are willing to do the little things to be better.
Grubbs on now to punt it away for the Demons. Was at the line of scrimmage.
And it looks like Warner Robins kind of got them at their own game right there, knowing that they're probably going to try to go after the kick. Warner Robins gets them to jump off sides, and they only needed, about 4 yards, 5 yards on the play for the offsides.
Tommy Watkins, that defensive leader for the Blue Devils, upset with his gang of Devils for jumping there. That gives the Demons a 1st down.
Dead ball foul. Encroachment, defense, 1st down.
That kind of worked against them because, everybody knows, and they've watched Statesboro on the year, know that their special team, in particular the punt coverage, they get after people. They will come and block a kick.
So the Demons with a fresh set of downs. Slot to the left and right. On the ground, play fake, they're going to go option. Wright kept it himself, got it to the 30, maybe a yard on the pickup.
Tacklers led by Brent Rogers.
We're coming short side of the field. And an update from the Class A championship. In the 2nd quarter, Clinch County leading it now over Hawkinsville 14-7. Hawkinsville led a lot of that first half, 7-0, but Clinch with a couple of touchdowns in the 2nd quarter, they take the lead.
Another tough game tonight.
Demons, 2nd and 8. Right side, Sanders looking for a block, slides it back to the inside, past the line of scrimmage, falls ahead for about 2.
I'll tell you what, Corey Rushing on that play just did a nice job with getting on the center and driving him down the line of scrimmage, never letting him get to push him back across the line of scrimmage, and because of that, Sanders had to stop from going outside and try to turn that thing up. Great job by Corey Rushing there for Statesboro.
Third down play now. Sanders on the night, 45 yards on 12 carries. The Demons face a 3rd and 7 from their own 31. Misdirection, they keep it now. Wright's going to go up top. Got a man wide open downfield. Catch going to be made by Hargrove. Hargrove streaking right side, down inside the 10, near the 4-yard line. Big play there for the Demons.
And you know what? That was one of those plays, again, where the run has set up the pass. They continue to try to make sure that Warner Robins don't beat them on the run. And here they were able to get behind the defenders and make a very, very long pass there. How did he get so wide open? Well, I tell you what, it's one of those things where it's just a mental mistake, but they'll cost you in a game like this. Certainly that big play for Warner Robins there as they're down inside the 5-yard line.
Jason Hargrove, the tight end. I want to refresh your memory. We were talking about this prior to coming on the air.
Sure, yeah.
That because of the attention paid to the running backs for the Demons, the tight end would be a big factor in this contest.
That's right. You certainly did. You see there 4 receptions, 149 yards on the season.
1st and goal to go for the Demons. On the ground, left side. Sanders tries it, but denied by a legion of Devils.
They really clogged that up there nicely, knowing that in this particular situation, they have to get after them and stop them. Hopefully, maybe hold them only to a field goal. They would like to do that, I'm sure, Statesboro. But talking about what you were saying earlier about the tight end, we hadn't gotten into it yet, but that was one of the things that they wanted to do against the Statesboro team, be able to get downfield, get into the seam. And that time, the tight end got off the ball with nobody looking at him. They were basically focusing on the run.
It was Hicks on the previous carry for the Demons. 2nd down goal to go now. They bring in a big fullback, and on the ground they give it to Sanders. Spins, fights off one tackler. Flag's tossed in. Didn't break the plane, but we'll check the flag out. Could be a face mask down there, Gerald.
Well, I'll tell you what, tough yards down there. That's a place down there where, hey, only the men can survive. Don't go in there if you don't want none. Don't go in there.
Penalty flags on the play.
It will be against the Blue Devils. Saw a concerned Coach Pennington looking in on that prior to the call.
This could be big down there for Statesboro and for Warner Robins.
5-yard face mask penalty on the defense. Repeat the down, 2nd down.
So it will be 2nd and goal to go now for the Demons after the assessment against Statesboro. Right to the line of scrimmage. The crowd will tell you what happens on the play. No signal. Now there it is.
You know what? They went there with their bread and butter. That's what they do. That signature play down there where they have 69 and 60 being Crenshaw and Clark pull over there and to either block down and kick out. That's exactly what they did there on that play. That's the bread and butter. That's been working for them all night long. Why not run it down the goal line?
So Sanders converts on the touchdown run for the Demons. Demons convert on the touchdown, and now we'll see what they do. They're going for 2 on it after they missed opportunities early on in terms of points after.
Well, you've got to start factoring in, if this team is able to stick with you gun for gun, what are you going to do? You've got to do something a little bit different.
On the ground, right side, Sanders again, back to the inside. They convert on the 2.
What did I say, though? That was a bread and butter play. Again, Sanders gets a nice run there. Nice blocking again by Crenshaw and Clark to pull over there. The 2 guards for Warner Robins. They've had a problem with that play all night long, and they continue to run it here as they get the 2-pointer.
Boy, we start out this game in good shape, and we're starting at second half as well as we take a look at the touchdown run right side by Sanders. You talk about Crenshaw and Clark pulling into that hole, and Sanders has to follow that for the touchdown.
And here they are again. As you see, 69 there with a block there, walling off, and then Crenshaw and Clark both again leading up there. Sanders, he benefits from having 2 very, very stout and very tough offensive linemen.
This is the touchdown run again
Great
from
blocks
behind
there.
the offense.
They stop the penetration, and that's when the play are successful. They can do that. They'll make it happen.
Demons on the scoring drive. They do what they need to do coming out of the break. 9 plays, 79 yards, 4 minutes, 39 seconds on the drive. Capped off with the 1-yard touchdown run by Alton Sanders.
And the big play down there from Hargrove, the tight end, which
Sure.
we were going to get into a little bit as the game went on, but certainly big passing play for them.
Grubbs to kick it away now. Wedlow circles at the 5. He squeezes. Works it middle of the gut. Wedlow now back to the left. Got some room in the crease. There's Wedlow. Wedlow on his feet. Wedlow inside the 40, down at the 33-yard line. 60-yard return by Nick Wedlow, and just like that, the Blue Devils are right back on top of it.
And that's why you got to go for that 2-pointer, because, Statesboro's not going to sit back and wait. As you see, Wedlow gets the ball here, and you know what? Just hits it. That's all you have. Hey, you got to put your foot on the gas there and make something happen. You make the kicker miss, and hey, if somebody's going to catch you, then he's going to have to get on his horse to do it. But a nice return there for Statesboro.
Maurice Gray with the touchdown-saving tackle. Wedlow with the return, takes it at the line of scrimmage. That was Charles Rock, and Rock was rocked at the line. Yeah. Good defensive stop by the Demons.
As you can see, drop it like it's hot. Because 65 came in there, Justin Brown, and just totally blew that play up.
Rock following the 2 running backs into the hole, but Brown just denying any kind of movement on the play. Second down, 9.5. Wedlow will try left side. He trips ahead near the 30-yard line. That'll make it 3rd and about 5 for Statesboro.
And I think Statesboro now is starting to we've got to go back and do what we've done. We can't let them take this out of our game, regardless of the score right now. We're going to get up on the line of scrimmage. We're going to look for that bubble. We're going to look for that soft spot in the defensive line, and we're going to try to exploit it. That's what they do, and that's what they're going to continue to try to do. Looks like from here.
Demons have reclaimed the lead. They lead at 20-13. Devils face a 3rd down and 5. Left side, Wedlow waiting for the play to develop. Now steps to the inside and runs into a wall again. Demons were ready for it at the corner. They had a nice surge led by Quinn Hampton, the senior linebacker.
They had quite a few over there.
Indeed it did.
It didn't really make a difference because all of them did one thing well. They held their ground. They did not get pushed back, and as a result, now they have a 4th down situation. We're going to see what Statesboro is made of here, because it's a 4th and short. But do they try to go and maybe get them to jump off sides at this time?
Oh my, yeah. We'll see if they actually try that on a long count.
A little payback?
Yeah. This would be the big payback if they're able to do it, but the Blue Devils face a 4th and 2. Cone audibilizing at the line. Gut check time. Into center. Flags at the line. Had some movement up front. Wasn't a long count. Maybe a delay of game against the Blue Devils. We'll check it out. That's the initial call from the back judge. Is that the Devils were guilty of a delay.
Yeah, man. And the coach has to be real upset with that. I'm sure that he did not want that to be the case. They felt that they could line up and get it, but you know what? Sometimes you got to get the play in. You've got to get it in there and let them call it or whatever. I know that he wants to do maybe get them off sides, but
Dead ball foul, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
You've got to get that play in. As I was getting ready to say, you cannot let yourself get in that position where they have to either maybe change the play or whatever, because now it puts them in 4th and long.
Indeed, you're right. When you look back on it in terms of the Warner Robins possession, the offside play by the Blue Devil defense helped them. We'll see what this penalty does with the offense. 4th and 7. Blue Devils going for it. Cone, play fake, rolls right side, fires. It's batted at the line of scrimmage, and the Demons have held on defense. They got it up in the air. Somebody stuck an arm up there and knocked it down.
I thought it was maybe Brown again, number 65 over there.
Indeed, you're right, Justin
Brown again. I think got his hand up in the air, got penetration again, and was able to knock that ball down.
And that's a knocker there. Blue Devils with 2 penalties, 1 defensively, 1 offensively, taking them out of the sequence momentarily. We'll see what the final impact is of that.
And I call that for the second half. That's the first play right there to say, that one right there, going to have to look back on that drive, and it may be the difference maker in this game.
After the defensive stand, the Demons come back on offense. On the ground, straight ahead. It was Hicks with the football. Hicks may have gotten a yard, perhaps 2.
Well, he didn't get too many because Tommy Watkins closed down on that one pretty quick. Him and Dickel, they both got after the ball right there. You know what? You've got to continue to try to go at what Statesboro doesn't do well, which is some of the plays they get outside, stretch them out a little bit. You know, they have some good athletes. They may not be as talented as some of the teams that Warner Robins has faced, but they're very tough.
Second down and 9. Left side. Sanders looking for something at the corner. Crunched here near the 36-yard line. Boy, the Blue Devils, you talked about it earlier. They do not miss on tackles.
No, they're very good tacklers, and I'm sure that Sanders, after this game, will be able to come up here and tell us, hey, these guys can hit.
Real-time stick here. Yikes.
And that I tell you what, great camera work by the camera guys down there. They are in on every single play.
Third down and 6. Demons from their own 37. Misdirection now. Wright's going to raise. Try to find someone downfield. They force him right side. Here comes the pressure. Backside, and they got the sack on him.
And that was a coverage sack. I had to give it to Statesboro that time. They had the right coverage on that time. Again, they were trying to go for the tight end down there, going down the field. They were trying to get Jason Hargrove again as he released and got downfield. And you can see him right there setting up, but they had the coverage on. They didn't let themselves get beat or let them get behind them. And as a result, Statesboro gets a big sack right there, forcing a fourth down.
Justin Houston, the sophomore defensive end for the Blue Devils with the sack. Now Jake Grubb will come on to kick it away for the Demons.
And look at the pressure up there. You know they're going to probably come after this one.
Jake Ware stands deep. Snap, they're coming. Grubb got it away. Short kick. Fielded by one of the up men for the Demons, Davenport right side, but the Blue Devils will have it at excellent field position right at midfield.
Good stand by Statesboro, even though in a situation where they were, they got down there and they didn't get anything out of it, but a great stand for them. Now they get the ball at midfield.
Tonight's game can also be viewed live on the GPB internet site around the world at www.gpb.org. Just follow the links to connect to the game. Every game will also be archived and available later on GPB website as well. That's www.gpb.org. Blue Devils now at midfield. Gerald, good field position to start the drive. First play left side. They got about 2.
They got about 2, but I tell you what, that was a heck of a play in there. Again, I talked about it earlier, and that's McCullough, the running back. You haven't called his name a whole lot for running the ball, but this little guy here is going after linebackers. He is crushing them with blocks. He's making some nice hits out there, and if they can do that, then Wedlow and those guys are going to continue to get some yards in there.
Second down and 9. Cone. Play fakes. Right side going up top. They're trying to get it downfield, but Maurice Gray with good defensive coverage on Cannell Thompson, and the pass goes incomplete. Gray with NFL-style defensive coverage there, step for step.
He was step for step, and I like the play call. I still like the selection here that they're making with the plays, with saying, hey, we've got to take our shots. And then, you know what? That one's just a hair from being complete.
Indeed, you're right.
So, take the shots. Don't sit back there and just wait and say, well, we're going to let them take this out of our game just because, they're up in it. Take your shots. Get an opportunity to score, get the ball downfield a little bit, because you know that their running style, if they don't work off a big play, they're just going to eat up the clock. And you see on the night, David Cone, 4 completions out of 13 attempts for 41 yards, but could it be more?
Third down play. We'll see if he gets any on this one. Here comes the pressure. They force him early. Pass at the corner, incomplete. Intended out in the flats for Brian Davis, the senior wideout, but the pressure was heavy on Cone, and he had to unload pretty quickly.
And that guy again over there for Warner Robins was Justin Brown, putting pressure on Cone to make him rush to throw a little bit, and he's been having a whale of a game so far tonight. Cone just a little bit off from completions. If he can get a couple of those, again, as I said earlier in the first half, he needs those for confidence building.
So Brown will kick it. They're coming after his kick, but he got it away. Gray calls for the fair catch, squeezes it at the 21-yard line. And it's still about field possession right now. The Demons will take it back from the 21. Blue Devils had it at midfield, not able to advance it.
And it looks like that maybe Warner Robins has kind of settled down a little bit there. Even though Statesboro, they know what they do best, they have been able to kind of throw out the anchor, so to speak, and not be able to get pushed around a little bit.
Indeed, you're right. In the first half, they had a couple of touchdown scores, but not able to enjoy them for any length of time because the Blue Devils came right back with their own scores.
Yes, they did.
1st and 10. Total yards in this third quarter. Warner Robbins at 79. The Blue Devils with only 2. Demons trying to get more. They work it left side, past the line of scrimmage. Pickup of about 2. Carry by Sanders.
And Etheridge again getting off of the block. They're going to have to do something with him because he's not going to let them run around his side. Number 13 Etheridge for Statesboro has been playing that particular run very, very well.
More action coming your way tomorrow night. It's the 5A state championships. This one from the Big Orange Jungle at Parkview. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. on GPB. It'll be the Vikings of Lowndes being hosted by the Panthers at Parkview. And we'll be there. On the ground. Straight ahead. Pickup of about 4 as the pack's being pushed. And that Demon offensive line, Gerald, as you indicated, starting to settle down a bit now and starting to get some creases and just kind of winning the battle of girth at this point.
Well, and that's what they're trying to do. You know, they're trying to take some time off the clock. That's what they want to do. The coach doesn't want to go out here and say, well, you know what, we're not going to try to make too many quick-hitting plays. We got to get some sustained drives here. And let's try to do it through our running game, get back trying to do the things that we do best. But again, they're playing against one of the stingiest defenses in Georgia football.
Right, and the Demons face a 3rd and 5. Misdirection, they go right side. Sanders at the corner, turns it up. Going to be close to the first down marker. From here, he looks to have it.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he got it, it was because of that burst that he put on right there at the end. I mean, he got around the corner. As you see here, Sanders gets there, and right when he sees that corner, he turns it up, and that's what you got to do. You've got to be ready to go and step on the gas, Billy, and get that first down. Took a good shot, but you know what? As a running back, you're going to take some of those. It's kind of give and take to get the first down.
Sanders, the senior, coming into tonight's ball game, only 151 yards away from setting the single-season rushing record at Warner Robbins.
Timeout, Warner Robbins.
Demons take a timeout after the first down run by Sanders. And it's just that buck sweep play that they're so known for running, Gerald, and that one worked well at the corner for the first down.
Well, you know, listening to the coach talk about Sanders at the beginning of the season, they didn't realize what they had. You know, he was, they thought that he was kind of light or whatever, good, tough guy, but he was able to get to almost 2,000 yards rushing this year.
We'll take a look at Coach Way in that huddle. We had a chance to catch up with him prior to the ball game to get his thoughts about what was so special about this year's team at Warner Robbins.
We've had great senior leadership. Went through some tough times last year in that, it's the first time we'd not made the playoffs since 1978. And, I think that they felt they let a lot of people down and things like that. And so they've, committed themselves from day one in the offseason to not letting that happen again, and have worked extremely hard. They care about one another, and the whole team is very close and work hard. And, we're probably not the most talented team that's going to be playing, but, I'll stack us up against anybody in terms of our work ethic. And so we've worked hard and made great improvement throughout the year, and excited about having an opportunity to play this week.
On the ground, straight ahead, it's Hicks with the football. Hicks got it up near the 35 as we approach the end of the third quarter.
Well, you know what? At the end of this quarter, the coach got to go over there and thank Etheridge, because he was the only guy there from possibly a big play again, right up the gut against Statesboro. But he was able to make the tackle, and they're able to run the clock out here for the end of the third quarter.
At the end of 3, it is still a close one here at Womack. The Demons of Warner Robbins leading at 20-13 over the Blue Devils of Statesboro. We'll step aside for a timeout, and we'll come back with an exciting final minutes of football.
I wish that I could fly into the sky.
Back live at Womack Field, Statesboro, Georgia. Final 12 minutes in this Quad A championship. Warner Robbins leading the Blue Devils 20-13, and Gerald, this promises to be an excellent and exciting finish from Statesboro.
That's right. Don't get up and leave. It's right now. This is the last quarter, and we're going to find out who's going to blink first. If Warner Robbins they make a mistake here, maybe give the ball up to Statesboro at some point in time, it can get very, very interesting here. The 2-point factor that they went to earlier on in the third quarter, we're going to find out how big that was.
We were talking about momentum in terms of what the line play was doing for the Demons of Warner Robins. They can continue that on this drive. Another touchdown here, make it awfully difficult for the Blue Devils to contend. On the ground, they fake it. Right side, it's a quarterback right with the football. Got some room left side. Breaks it into the secondary. Stumbles near the 45, down to the 43, but the misdirection keeper works well for the Demons.
Well, you know what? Again, loading up for the run, looking for the running backs that they got, and then guess who steps up and makes a big play? The court, Mark Wright, gets here, fakes in there, takes it around the outside. I tell you what, he had had some intentions there to go all the way if he could. Big play for Warner Robins. Now it looks like we find out they're coming up with a few more plays, and that's what it's going to come down to apparently the rest of this game.
So the first down run by quarterback Mark Wright puts the football into Blue Devil territory. Straight ahead they go with the carry. It's Hicks right side. Hicks near the 40.
Time out the clock. You know, even though this is the start of the fourth quarter, Warner Robins wants to do the things that they can do best, and that's hand the ball off and make some yards. If they can do that, everybody's been keying on Sanders. He's been a big guy coming in here all game long, but I tell you what, maybe they forgot about Hicks in there because Hicks has been having a whale of a game.
Well, you heard Coach Wade talking about it at halftime that he was real pleased with what they were doing on the ground. Warner Robins tonight, 106 yards rushing, 100 yards in the air, fairly balanced. Right side, Sanders got some room, breaks the tackle inside the 30, down near the 27.
What can you say about that? That right there is finding out who really wants it most. That's what it came down to. Hicks, nice run there on the right side. I thought he was going to pull at first, but they just a straight handoff, and he's able to get some yards there on the right side, keeping those feet turning the whole time, able to pick up some extra yards in there. Big first down run for them.
Right now, the Blue Devil defense, not sure if they're coming or going on this. The Demons have so many weapons. We've seen a couple of them displayed on this drive. First and 10 now from the Blue Devil 29. On the ground, spinning inside is Hicks. Hicks works his way to the 25.
Almost there, a nice tackle there in the backfield by Tommy Watkins, shooting the middle up there and getting the hit on Hicks, but Hicks was able to keep his balance, spinning right in the hole, which is a very tough thing to do, and making some positive yards again in there. Gets about 5 yards, almost 5 yards on the run.
And you got to get the feeling now with the offense of the Demons, offensive coordinator Stacey Harden, he's starting to settle and feel that they're able to do some things that they really wanted to do all game long in terms of game plan. Things are starting to work for them now. As you look at Sanders on the night with that last rush, he went over 2,000 yards for the season, 2017. And awfully close to that Willie Reed's record as we come back to live play. Sanders left side.
You know what? This is the kind of game right now. This drive here is what the players want to have. It's like, Coach, hey, we are in a position right now where we have a little momentum going. Let's keep putting our foot on the neck of them. Let's get after them here again as Crenshaw and Clark again are pulling up the middle, and Sanders just falling right behind them. You know what? They're smelling it. They want to go out and smell that end zone. They want to smell that line. They want to go for a touchdown here. They don't want to settle for anything less.
Take a look at the measurement, but Alton Sanders, workhorse tonight for the Demons, just to finish up that point. Sanders runs it for the first down. But 2017 yards on the season. Willie Reed with that 1999 record of 2,098. So Sanders, with about 9 minutes of football left, with a window here to possibly capture that record for Warner Robins.
He's had a great season, no doubt about it. He was a secret in the beginning of the season. Nobody really knew much about him, but guess what? Word's out. He's a heck of a back, and certainly, I don't know if he's D1 material, but somebody's going to give him a good look and then maybe go on and play next year somewhere.
First and 10. Right on the ground, left side. Hicks works it back to the middle of the field. Got it down near the 15. Sanders, incidentally, 5th all-time at the school in terms of career rushing with over 3,200 yards.
The gain is 3. Second down and
not a heavily recruited back, as you indicated, Gerald, but really has shown his stuff, certainly in the playoffs for the Demons, and even beyond that all season long.
Right, and he's probably going to get a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, depending on where he goes, and he could be a very, very nice addition to someone's backfield.
Second down and 7, inside the red zone, the Demons, left side. Sanders crunched at the line, but he fights off of that one tackler and works it inside the 15, near the 14, perhaps the 13.
Statesboro needs a big stop right here. They need a big stop here. And of course, you know, their players are going to be getting after trying to make something happen here. But they need a turnover, no doubt about it. As you saw that Tommy Watkins in on the play there, making a nice stick, as he has done all year long and being part of a very, very stingy defense. But, you know, they need to have something happen here right now, a turnover or something, in order to stop this drive so they can get the ball back to their offense.
And indeed, you're right. That defense for the Blue Devils been out there a pretty long time in this second half of football. Third down conversions, 3 of 9, both teams on the ground. Sanders got some room, lunges ahead. Wright thinks it's a first down. We'll see if the officials concur.
It looks like they're definitely going to have the first down. He lunged for that one. He looked like he was running a darn track meet when he turned up the field. He was flying. And again, the offensive linemen, they appreciate drives like this. They appreciate the plays that the coaches are calling and saying, hey, we're doing what we do best. And look, as you see there, guess what? 69 and 60 again.
And Clark.
Those two guys, that's what they do best. So let's get behind these two guys and let's make it work.
And they are making it work right now. First down, goal to go, and an official's timeout. The Demons of Warner Robins leading at 20-13, trying to add some more to it. Just inside the 10-yard line. Wright will go under center. Left side, Sanders looking for the hole. He's got it. He'll walk it in. Touchdown for the Demons. He was patient at the corner, Gerald.
Was very patient. And again, do I have to say it again? Crenshaw and Clark, if you can see these guys again, they just made a pathway for Sanders to go out there and get the touchdown. As you see here, look at there they are again, 69 and 60. Cuts up right there, and nothing but clear sailing, and get a touchdown. They have made a living on this play all night long. Bread and butter. It works. Let's stick with it.
They put the football on that young man's shoulders, Alton Sanders, and Sanders has responded big at this point. Now Grubbs will come on to try the point after. Get it down, and Grubbs gets a kick, finally gets one airborne, and he drives it through for the Demons.
No, I think he tried to kick it to the next county, though, because he was going to get
this
that
is
one
for the first two, right?
That's right. He put that one a mile behind the stadium.
So we take a look now at the touchdown run left side. Watch the two guards. You see Crenshaw and Clark up front creating the hole. Sanders able to be very deliberate about waiting for it to clear. And he runs it in from 8.
That's a thing of beauty. It really was. You know, just to watch that play, it was a thing of beauty. As you see there, 13 plays on the drive, 79 yards, 6 minutes, 23 seconds. That's an awfully long time for anyone's defense to be on the field.
Sanders with a second touchdown of the night, but the 6 minutes, 23 seconds looms bigger than almost anything that you see on the screen at this point, because they already had the lead. Now they get that additional score, and it makes it awfully tough for the Blue Devils with a pretty much run-oriented offense.
And this is what takes them out, you know, where the coaches now are going to really have to come up with some good plays. They can't go out there and just be content with saying, all right, we're going to make them come after us. If they want to get back in this game with a little over 7 minutes to go, they're going to have to loosen up their offense. Cohen's going to have to make some completions out there, and other players are going to have to step up and make some big plays happen.
Squib kick came to Charles Rock. Rock steady fighting off defenders. Now they finally get him down near the 27-yard line. They definitely did not want to kick it deep. Rock able to collect it for Statesboro. They'll start the drive from the 27. See the football bouncing up, hit Rock in the face mask, but able to collect it. And then once that squibber comes in like that, Gerald, it's almost tough to get any kind of run back set because you're so out of kilter. Cone working right side up top. Pass going to be batted away near the 40. Flags finally coming in there.
Yeah, I was wondering when they were going to call that one, because he was all over the defender before he could hardly turn around out there. Cone gets the play out there to Cannell Thompson. And Cannell Thompson was he was smothered out there. I think it wasn't any doubt about that.
Maurice Gray, the junior defensive back, all over Thompson.
I think he was pleading his case too. I don't know why.
Well, he was pretty.
It was a clear pass interference.
No question about it. Right there in front of the officials.
We have interference on the defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So the line of scrimmage now for the Blue Devils, the 43-yard line. And there you see Gray from behind. Really with the right arm is where all the contact took place. And take a look at that time of possession. Really favoring the Demons as Cone rolls right side, raises, fires, and this one's going to be picked off. It's picked off by Dominique Davenport, the senior, for the Demons. And that's close to a dagger, Gerald.
Yeah, well, it's, yeah, about 7 minutes left to go in the game. You can say that, but again, I think the defense, they've been on the field too long, and I think this is one of those situations where, they're starting to feel it. They've been out there for an extremely long time this whole second half.
But this play is exactly what you talked about in terms of what the Blue Devil offense really had to do, and this is kind of atypical of them to be forced to pass that football in that sequence on the field. Cone there through the interception.
Right, they got out of what they normally do, and when you get a team who is so used to just running the ball, pounding the ball the whole time, and then have to make them, and then they have to come out there and try to play catch-up ball, it just doesn't work that way. They don't have many big play people in that regard, so they're going to have to, find other ways to try to score some points. So, naturally they're going to sit back there and wait for the quarterback to throw the ball, see if he's going to make a mistake, especially when he hasn't really been proven yet. He hasn't completed very many passes, and the coaches feel defensively it's in their favor. It's just a matter of time.
It's viewers like you that help make great local programs like these GHSA football games possible on Georgia Public Broadcasting. To show your support, simply visit our website at www.gpb.org. It's totally secure, simple to use, and it takes just 2 minutes. And thank you for supporting Georgia Public Broadcasting. And really, we couldn't say it any more sincerely. It's a perfect time for you to go out and show your support for these young high school athletes. And long, but the Demons have been effective in taking this air out of the football here at Womack Stadium and driving that time off the clock, Gerald.
Yes, they have. That one drive that they had that they scored on here recently to make it 27 was probably the drive of the game, because they took the ball and they literally just did everything that they wanted to do that they're used to doing. They had the runs up the middle. Crenshaw and Clark just pretty much owned the defense on that drive.
3rd down and 11. Right under center. They're going to go left side. Sanders looking for some room. Finds a hole left side. One man to beat the secondary. There's Sanders down the sideline. Somebody's got an angle, but Gray won't catch him. He'll dive in. It's a touchdown for the Demons. 47-yard touchdown run by Alton Sanders, and Sanders just picking up where he left off in the semifinals. A wonderful football game on the ground for Alton Sanders.
Well, and that was a thing of beauty, because guess what again? I give you one guess of what play they ran.
Crenshaw, Clark, I know the names.
Yeah. Again, this is what they have done all game long, and makes a nice run down the side, stretches it out, and again picks the seam and is able to turn it up. And once he does that, he has the speed to take it all the way.
Grubbs will come on now to put an exclamation point on this one, as Wright will hold it. Get it airborne, and Grubbs drives it through. It's 34-13 now. The Demons of Warner Robins extend and build on their lead, and getting awfully close to their 4th title in the state of Georgia.
Well, the defense was just on the field too long. They were out there quite a long time. You look at the time of possession. I think the defense has probably been out there on that field majority of the quarter. As you see here, pulling around the right side right there. There's that 69, and the 60 was in the inside, and he's able to get outside. And once he is getting in the open like that, not many guys around are going to catch him. Gets the touchdown. Sanders gets a touchdown, 47-yard touchdown, and puts probably the nail in the coffin for Warner Robins.
And Sanders with only 2 yards needed now in this football game to surpass Willie Reed's 2,098 on the season to become the all-time season leader for the Demons of Warner Robins.
Guess what? He's not going to get it. I hate to say that.
309 remains. We will see.
Unless they can come out here and go a 3 and out or something, and I hope that nobody's really paying attention, because you know what, it's great to have records and all that, but you know what, you want to end this game up on a good note.
Wedlow wants to end it on a good note for the Blue Devils. Works it inside of Demon territory near the 48-yard line. Good return by Nick Wedlow. And that Blue Devil offense they're not done yet. Cone coming back out there, but they've got to get some things going in the air.
Very quickly. You know, that's they've got to be able to. And you know what? For Cone, I think that these situations will help him grow. He's just a junior. Remember these times right here because the passing game is so important. Even though they place a lot of value on the run, he's got to be able to pass the ball.
Cone will go under center. Short pitch pass in the flats. They get it to Grady Young. Grady Young creates the contact, pushes his way down near the 40-yard line, and runs out of bounds. So a pickup of about 4 or 5 on the reception, and the clock will stop. Alton Sanders with a phenomenal performance in this final ball game of the Quad A division. He had 266 yards last weekend in the semifinals. As you took a look at Grady Young on the reception for the Blue Devils.
Tiptoeing down that sideline.
Cone rolling right side, now raises. Here comes the pressure. He'll try to tuck it away and run. Crunched near the 35-yard line. Took a hard hit there. He was sandwiched by 2 Warner Robins players. Roderick Rose, one of them.
Well, Roderick Rose looked like he was trying to get his one of those film shots, you know, highlight reel shots, but Cone was able to look around and see him just before he hit him, and he and McKenzie made the tackle.
Clock running now. Cone pumps once, going up top, trying to get it to Gray. They all stumble down near the 7-yard line, but no flag, incidental contact. They'll rule it.
Yeah, get the feet all tangled up down there, and you know, it's again, you know, they're out of their offense now. They really are just trying to get something going here, maybe get a score, get an onside kick, and you know, maybe some kind of miracle is going to happen here. But again, the beginning of the half, Warner Robins came out and they pretty much took control of this game.
Good look at the play downfield
by that great Kimber crew.
Pass at the corner. It's Young. Grady Young with the grab and steps out of bounds near the 28-yard line. Credit to the Blue Devils. They finished at 14, or right now the way things stand, they'll go at 14-1 on the 2004 campaign. A lot of folks didn't even expect the Blue Devils to be in the championship run this year, given the transition from coaches. So hats off to Statesboro. As Cone fakes it in the line, dumps it out in the flats to Charles Rock. And Rock takes a shot for his efforts as the pass goes incomplete.
You know, as you know, I look at what Statesboro is. You know, they have a basic offense that they run for years. You know, they do things, you know, once in a while a little bit differently. But as you see here, Cone stepping out here to get the ball out to Rock, and of course it went through his hands, trying to catch the wrong way. You know, you got to get your hands out, get your palms up to in front of them. But you learn something from these games too. Even though it's, you know, they're behind, and you know the inevitable may happen as far as the loss is concerned. As you see there that Warner Robins again, and that's that Brown. He's just been Justin Brown has been all over the place tonight. You learn something from this, that at some point in time you do have to, you know, learn some different things offensively. You run the ball. You've had great players to run the ball, but somewhere along the line, you've got to do some things differently. You have to incorporate some other parts of your offense in order to, when you get in these situations, certainly in the big games, that you can have other things to draw on.
So the Blue Devils turn the football over on downs now. As you take a look at the final, or 1 minute remaining in that Class A championship ball game, and they're tied at 14 apiece. Everyone thought that Class A football final would be a good one, and it's panning out to be tied at 14 with a minute remaining. On the ground now, Hicks spins it ahead left side. They get the clock going here at Womack Field.
Well, certainly Statesboro, you know, regardless of what the score is, they have accomplished a lot this year. And as you indicated, that nobody really expected them to be here, you know, finish with a number 1 ranking at least. And being able to come in here on the game like this and host it at home, you know, bittersweet to some extent, but it's you learn something from this, and hopefully the group of guys that are going to be here next year are going to remember this. And they may be right back in the same situation again next year.
On the ground, left side, Hicks trying to work it inside the interior. Not a whole lot there. Devils stopping at the line of scrimmage. But at least people think that these Demons of Warner Robins were some kind of fluke coming into this ball game tonight, and a program overall that's just storied in terms of its playoff performance. Just take a look at some of these facts, please. 27 city championships, 23 region championships. As you see, they start to get ready.
Oh, yeah.
With the traditional pail of water.
I'm surprised that the coach didn't have those things emptied out by this time.
Well, let's just continue with that list, though. 17 times in the state quarterfinals, 11 times in the state semifinals, 5 times in the state finals, 3 times state champs, likely 4th tonight, 2 times national champs, and they've had a winning record at Warner Robins since 1966. On the ground, they go right side with the football this time. And we're under a minute remaining, and Brian Way in his first campaign at Warner Robins.
What a program.
On the verge of celebrating a season that he will never forget.
I think he needs to kind of get that hood and put over his head because they're looking for him. Somebody got it. It wasn't the head coach, but somebody got it. That's what it's all about, you know. And I'm sure, you know what, he doesn't mind that. I don't think he probably wish that there was a little bit more time on the clock, although there's only 15 seconds. But again, hey, hats off to Statesboro. I think Warner Robins, as the coach had indicated, this team has exceeded his expectations. Now they have a championship to top it off. Great season for them. Great season for Statesboro.
Indeed, you're right. Flags coming in. It'll go against the Demons. Probably delay a game, but that's a guess.
Dead ball,
Indeed
delay a game, offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
So the Demons take the trip down to Statesboro, and they come in and they turn in a fine performance. Things started out here very interesting from Womack Field, stayed that way for most of the contest. But around the end, we talked about it early on that it was whoever would win the battle in the trenches to be able to assert their offensive flow would be the team to take advantage and come out a winner here. And the Demons seem to have done that.
And not only just that, it came down to a couple of big plays. Who would make them when they had the opportunity to do so? Certainly Warner Robins did so with a nice couple of passes downfield. One in particular to Jason Hargrove, who made a nice catch and run, getting them down there inside the 5-yard line. So they made the plays when they had to. They knew what they had to do against a very stingy Statesboro defense, and the coach finally gets his little dousing too. You know, I'm sure. Hey, that's again, they look forward to that. They know that the guys are probably going to set them up, but they want to have that happen.
Oh, he got the nice weatherized jacket.
Yeah,
on
no,
he's
cheating. He's cheating a little bit. He probably wouldn't put it on at halftime or whatever, but he's cheating.
So congratulations to Coach Brian Way. At the end of it all, Gerald, he'll be able to say, I did it my way.
All right. You've had a couple good ones here tonight.
Grubbs will punt it. Blue Devils still coming after it, though. Credit to him as Ware catches it. He's crunched right there in his tracks. It'll finally come clear and be picked up by Justin Houston. Our correction, looks like the Demons, Blue Devils had it, but that will be the final play of the ball game, it appears. Had about 4/10 remaining on the clock.
They might as well just run it off, I guess, you know.
But they are celebrating here at Womack, Gerald. The Demons of Warner Robins are your Class 4A champs in the state of Georgia for the year 2004. And they come on the road down to Statesboro, and they do it.
Well, came in here with speed. Speed showed that they can, that it does get, you know, even though they said, you know, they kind of had the gaudy numbers at first. Most people thought, even myself, that, you know, defensively, if Statesboro was able to play the way they would want to, then they would hang in this game.
Jim Ginocchio standing by with a happy Coach Brian Way. Jimmy.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Coach, Class 4A state champions. How's it feel?
It feels real good. I'm awful proud of our kids. They work hard. And, they've done everything we've asked them to do all year long. And you know, went at halftime down by 1. We told them if we keep playing hard, good things have happened. They played outstanding. Proud of them. And yeah, I've been associated with young men, football players.